And we are live. Hey everybody, this is Roberto Blake, helping you create something awesome today. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into YouTube analytics. We're going to be looking at the lifetime analytics for my channel. I'll also be showing you guys anything you want to see in terms of analytics data. So basically, none of the data here is off limits. I'm actually going to bring that up onto the screen. Shout out to our sponsors for the stream, Streamyard, which let me broadcast to Facebook Live, not Instagram right now, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, Twitch, and X.com, formerly Twitter, all at once. So shout out to our friends at Streamyard. So if we take a peek here, nope, I don't want to show you slides. I want to show you the analytics screen for YouTube. I think it's over here. So we have that on screen. We're going to be showing you the lifetime analytics for my channel. So the thing is, and I get a little bit of criticism and razzing from people sometimes. Some people are like, hey, Roberto, if you know so much about YouTube, why aren't you getting like a bajillion views every upload? And the very simple answer is that views are not decided by how much you know about YouTube or how good you are at YouTube. Views are decided by one thing and one thing only for the most part: the total addressable market for the topic you are making a video about, meaning that there are more people who care about arguing about the new Star Wars movie, the new Jedi Order, and basically the Rey movie. Think about it. How many people care about growing a YouTube channel versus how many people care about Star Wars? Total addressable market is much larger for Star Wars. That would be. If you want views, you have to make something. You have to make videos about things that the most people care about. So the majority of views on YouTube, one of the biggest categories of views on YouTube that's ever existed is Minecraft. Does anyone have a guess why Minecraft would have trillions of views on YouTube? You couldn't take all the education videos about YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, any social media combined. All the videos about social media on every platform combined would never equal as many views as the Minecraft niche. Why? Because Minecraft has a much bigger market. It's one of the best-selling games of all time. It's very popular with younger people and people around all other ages and demographics. So there's no way that like basically my niche can compete with Minecraft even as one game within the entire genre of gaming. That's just a primary example. Now, what I do is actually help other content creators, and I've helped a bunch of content creators get silver and gold play buttons. We're actually doing something here at the office where I'm making the Hall of Fame for the students I've coached with Awesome Creator Academy. So we're getting copies of their play buttons. We've helped maybe 60 creators get play buttons, silver and gold. We have some coming on the podcast. And basically, we're going to be building the Hall of Fame. So we're going to put them up on the wall. It's going to actually look really cool to have those creators' play buttons up on the wall. So that's something dope. But yeah, we're going to deep dive into the YouTube algorithm and analytics. And we're going to explain a lot of this and the general basic algorithm of YouTube. And then we'll get into advanced mode here, because there's a lot of weird things that a lot of you don't know about YouTube that we can actually categorize when you get into advanced mode data. Primary example, if we view content by date instead of by, views by date, and we go here. So we go views by date. We can actually look at the lifetime views of a channel year over year, and we can go ahead and we can track it that way. During the pandemic, see, I was actually doing really good during my peak prime. When I first started really taking YouTube seriously, it was in 2013. A lot of people don't realize this. I went from 2013 with basically no subscribers to 100,000 subscribers in 3 years by 2016. I wonder if I can do subscribers by date as well. Oh yeah, so yeah, we can. So there are some things where YouTube has problems with data reporting holes, but basically I didn't have like any subscribers like when I first started like in 2013 taking YouTube seriously. You can see here not having subscribers because I wasn't uploading any videos really. I was uploading like 4 videos a year. That's not being a YouTuber, at least unless you're like a documentary filmmaker. So what I did was I started doing a bunch more uploads, and then as you can see, my views and my subscribership grew. And so in 2016 is where I got to 100,000 subscribers and 7 million views that year. Total lifetime views around that time was probably close to like, I think 10 million or 8 million lifetime views. I think it was something like that. So then, as you can see, I was maintaining a very good amount of new subscribers, and then we go into the pandemic era. Now, there was a gap there where I moved and I couldn't upload because I was moving houses, but the pandemic era didn't do me a lot of favors. I was uploading less views, less subscribers. You know how that works out. So that is the trajectory on the chart. I wish this was a bar chart instead of a line chart, but whatever. So you can see that build up, peak, and then the drop off, but we're going to start ramping back up on both sides here. So upswings come from more consistency. So that happens. Now, what I did, and a lot of people don't understand this, is there's actually a metric and a formula you can use if you don't do YouTube Shorts. If you don't do YouTube Shorts and you only do long form videos, there is a metric here of turning your overall viewership percentage wise into subscribers, and it's what I call the 1% rule. So whatever the amount of views you get, you can usually on average turn 1% of all the viewership you get into subscribers. Now, if you look at the chart here, and let me pull aside the sponsor banner for a moment, and we'll get back to our sponsors later, because I want to show you this chart. I'm going to make this bigger for you so you can see the data more clearly. So if you look, I wasn't uploading videos. In fact, if we even do videos published and we add that to the chart here, oh, it's not able to pull that data for this one. That's annoying. All right, so I'll just hide that from the thing. All right. But anyway, you can see the subscribers and you can see the number of views here. Okay. So I wasn't doing much in those early days because I was barely uploading anything and it didn't matter. I wasn't like doing anything. So when I start taking this seriously in 2013, I get 140,000 views in 2013. And that converts to, that many subscribers. Then after a year of doing this, I get to a decent number of subscribers for that year. So I added another 14,000 because I basically 10x the amount of views that I was getting. I tripled the amount of views I was getting, and it tripled the amount of subscribers I got, more or less. You can see the number correlation. I more than double those amounts of views. I double the amount of subscribers. So you can see the correlation there. So if you look at that, in 2014, I have 14,000 subscribers. Boom, 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 boom. 2016, look at that, 100,000. And that's how many I gained, by the way, for that year. These numbers are gains. These are subscriber gains and not cumulative, not the number of total subscribers. It's amount of subscribers gained. Okay, so I gained by this much. So I gained a whole 100,000 subscribers there, gained a whole 100,000 subscribers, gained a whole 100,000 subscribers. So I had good momentum. Then gained, 60,000, gained another 6,000. But look at the views. The views subsequently correlated here that if I wanted to get 100,000 subscribers, I had to, in my case, I was converting at a rate of about 1.5% instead of 1%. So the formula dictates all of this. It's all math. YouTube is math. A lot of people just refuse to accept that truth, okay? So this is how YouTube works. When people challenge me about, do I know YouTube? Why don't I get these views? I did get views. I've gotten views. The thing is, I can only get views in the niche that I have in proportion to how often I upload. I'll show you the data on that a little bit later in terms of the number of uploads for the channel and how that played out. But I can only get views in proportion to the number of uploads I do. And that's what drives it. It's not about view to subscriber ratios. It's actually view to subscriber conversion rates. Everyone has this wrong. Everyone keeps thinking that if they get more subscribers, they'll get more views on YouTube. It's the opposite. If you get more views, you will get more subscribers. And this number, you cannot argue with numbers. You cannot argue with the charts. So if you look at 2013, 2023, 3.3 million views, 33,000 subscribers. That is literally a 1% conversion rate. That is literally a 1% conversion rate. You cannot get around the math here. It's impossible to get around the math. And then you have, I overperformed a little bit here on 2.23 to getting 30, 2.6 to 40, so on and so forth. So again, there was a point of overperforming on that, but so it depends on like just where things are. But for me, it's always been between a 1 and 1.5 conversion rate for me. Now, for a lot of my other clients, it depends on your niche. If you're in gaming, it's worse. It's like a 0.5 conversion rate. It's about 0.5%. Sometimes lower, like with the people I coach in Clash of Clans, it's like sometimes it's like 0.3. It's like 0.3. It's very difficult for them. But you can just see the ratios. And then if you do the ratio on my lifetime views, and this is without shorts, my lifetime views of 41 million views convert to 600,000 subscribers. Now, if you go and you find a channel with 1 million subscribers, it'll usually have about 100 million views, 125 million views. And this is without YouTube Shorts, by the way. So if you go and find those creators, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This math is fairly consistent when you take YouTube Shorts out of the equation and you don't bargain for that. So this is the real deal. Now, if you want to help out other creators, I highly recommend that you share the live stream now, that you smash the like button on the live stream, get this out to as many creators as possible. And again, I'm tired of the unoriginal comment of, okay, well, why aren't you getting views? Because again, my market is different. I'm making content designed to help creators. I'm not optimizing my content for views. In fact, I'm optimizing my content. If I was optimizing my content for anything, I'm optimizing my content for revenue. And I'll tell you the truth, and I'll tell you the real numbers. What a lot of people will not do is they will not tell you the numbers when it comes to things like the revenue. Now, if you ask most creators who have millions of views, they cannot tell you that 40 million views nets $300,000. And that's just the AdSense. That's just the AdSense. And that's the lifetime AdSense. But last year, I did about roughly $330,000. And if you follow me on x.com, formerly Twitter, I actually broke down how I made that money. I made $330,000. Now, that doesn't mean I get to keep all that money. The IRS takes its pound of flesh, and I have some expenses. So take that for what you will. In 2021, I think I did $400,000. So I do very well. And what I can tell you is that I do over 100,000 on brand partnerships this year. The point is to double that, and I've more or less can tell you that I've doubled that for this year with the contracts that are in play. Can't tell you the individual contracts because of NDA, but basically, it's that I'm doing 200,000 in brand deals. I know what I'm doing. I'm optimizing in a different genre than what someone else wants to. If someone wants to be an entertainer, they're worried about being popular. A lot of popular entertainers are not necessarily compensated well. I'm doing a completely different niche with a totally different addressable market. And the thing is, my views are consistent with the views in the niche that I am in. I'm not out here playing Pokemon. You want 1 million views? Play Pokemon. You want 1 million views? Make Minecraft videos. Ronald Baker says, I mean, this is not to be disrespectful. It kind of is, Ronald. But you're always kind of bitter and seem to have an attitude. If content creation makes you that way, you probably should do something else. Ron, you don't know me. You don't know that content creation has anything to do with that attitude or whatever you think attitude I think I have. Maybe life makes you that way. It has nothing to do with, plenty of people, whatever they do. And I don't feel like I always have an attitude. Most of the chat doesn't always feel like I have an attitude and bitter. But if I was to have an attitude and be bitter, maybe it's not anything to do with content creation. Maybe it has to do with whatever I've been through in the last 40 years that I've been alive. You don't know me like that, Ron. So, I mean, you say you're not being disrespectful, but you don't know me. So who are you to comment on what I should or shouldn't be doing or how I feel about anything? Real talk, Ron Baker. You don't know me to judge me like that, so I don't know why you felt like you had to make that comment. And see, this is the point when it comes to content creation in YouTube is that whatever people put out is what people see, but it doesn't mean you know anything. And the thing is, you can say that you think I'm bitter, but most of the comments don't think that I'm that. It's like, I enjoy what I do and I enjoy helping creators. I don't love and appreciate when people who don't know what they're talking about, though, do decide to interject. There was, what is it my grandmother used to say? My grandmother, I think, had this phrase, and she used to say it. My grandmother's from Panama, and so sometimes the translation in English is oppa. It's like, it was something about someone dipping their mouth in the Kool-Aid and not knowing the flavor, I believe was the phrase that Nana used to say. I'm not YouTube's cheerleader. I'm not the community's cheerleader, and I'm not the community's rah-rah sis boom bah person. I'm the no nonsense, no BS guy. And so what you're going to get from me is I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm going to give it to you no chaser. And the thing is, I'm going to give it to you mostly for the kind of person that's much more of a, let's say, adult per se. I do not resonate very well with the young crowd, with very, very few exceptions. I resonate with the young hustlers, but I don't necessarily resonate with the young crowd. But for the working class creator that's 30 years old, or the full-time creator that's 30 years old, and for some of the old heads over 40, they kind of appreciate my tone and my candor because they know that I'm not out here, trying to pander to children and gas them up and tell them how wonderful the entire thing is. I'm trying to tell you that it's the truth. This is very challenging. This can be very difficult. This has several advantages. It has several advantages to doing it. There's time freedom that can come from it. And the thing is, if you learn the skills and you learn the information and you stick with it consistently for about 5 to 7 years, there's definitely an opportunity for it to be something that can be sustainable in the long run full time. The lifespan of that is roughly 10 to 15 years. Total 5 to 7 years to get off the ground. If you're very, very fortunate, or if you're privileged, it can be 0 to 3 years. If you're highly talented, 0 to 3 years to sustainability. Sustainability is not necessarily a large subscriber count. Sustainability is usually revenue relative to where you live, and making it very practical. Now, me, like I said, I optimized a business model for revenue. And it wasn't all off of coaching revenue, but it's also not off of AdSense. I don't trust AdSense. I love YouTube. I love the partner program. Ads are too volatile. Ads are too volatile. And those of you who've been experiencing either demonetization issues or I've been hit with the invalid traffic bug. If you've been hit with the invalid traffic bug, or you have demonetization issues, or you're seeing ad rates go down by 30 or 40%, because of a lot of different things that are happening in the markets. And before that, there were some advertiser boycotts, things like that, then you know not to trust ad revenue to live off of when it comes to being a content creator. I went diversified. Most content creators live off of their brand deals. I make the most money right now off of brand deals. A lot of people think I make the most off of it, off of coaching and courses. I make the majority off of brand partnerships. And my version of it is usually user-generated content. So working on the brand's behalf and posting things that they can use on their social medias, as well as what's called NIL, name, image, likeness. So then that's licensing them to use me on a website or to use me in advertising. So you can get a lot of traction on that as long as you're the right market fit. And then you don't really have to worry about your views and performance because you're the right market fit, the right representation, the right story, et cetera, et cetera. My best friend does acting and modeling, and a lot of it really has to do, he doesn't need he doesn't need reach, and he doesn't need social media. He just has to be the right fit. My friend Teese, she just has to be the right fit. You don't need a big following sometimes to be able to be the right thing to work with a brand. A lot of you are lowballing your brand deals and don't realize that someone who's not even in the ad for the billboard got paid an $800 day rate to stand around and have their photos taken even when they're not used in the ad. And yet a lot of you won't even charge $800 for a brand deal where you're doing the on-camera work, you're writing the script, you're doing the research, you're doing the editing, you're doing the color grading, you're doing all these things, and you're giving reach on top of it. Someone who didn't even have to do any of that got an $800 day rate to be a model because they were the right fit, because they were the right look. Wildly practical. So the thing is, what you have to figure out is that you have to take your passion and your abilities, tie that to the right market fit, and the market fit is much more a combination of here's the total addressable market, and then here's also the profitability of this. Here's like the business sense. Here's how I can make money doing this. That way I'm not a starving artist. So I have to do things that, yes, I'm good at, but I also have to be passionate enough about them to keep going. But I have to be good at them because there's no point in doing something just because I love it, but I'm really bad at it, because then nobody will really care, and also no one will pay for that. So you have to align these things to find your right niche, and we call that ikigai. Yep. And so we call that ikigai. Hey, what's up, Walter's World? Appreciate you. Hey, I like Matt Parr. Matt Parr is good. Matt Parr has his personality. If you're in your 20s, absolutely listen to Matt Parr. Absolutely go for the viral video thing. And Matt Parr knows exactly what he has to do to win over his audience. And that's fine. I'm not going to come here and I'm not going to pretend to be upbeat, fake. I'm not going to snort some Adderall, and I'm not going to perform like a dancing bear for the YouTube algorithm. And guess what? You know what? That's cool. Go watch Matt Parr if you want somebody that's going to be super, super. I mean, again, I'm upbeat, but I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to act like I'm some like happy jazz cheerleading Adderall fiend for your entertainment and amusement. You can go watch somebody else. It's that simple. You're all good. You're all good. You know? And no, not everyone does the same thing as me, because you're not going to find a channel that sits here and dives into their lifetime analytics. So I don't think everyone does the same thing as me. But if you think that, everyone's welcome to go find somebody that they want to watch. That's fine. I recommend that a lot of you watch my friend Nick Nimmin, Sean Cannell. I have no problem with you watching any YouTube educator that serves you. But I do think that I offer something that's a little bit different, and I don't think that everyone goes and shows you the individual niches that they've made videos in, the lifetime earnings for those, and then shows you the individual RPMs for the different niches they've made videos in, because then you'd be competing with them. So, I mean, there is that. I mean, I think the only person that does that, oh, Daryl, of course, go watch Daryl, go watch Tim. Yeah. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So, like, something I tell you is, like, again, AdSense can be great. And I'm not trying to dunk on AdSense. A lot of people think I'm anti-AdSense and I want the ads program to go away. Not at all. You know, what I look at, though, is it is volatile. It can be inconsistent. Some niches pay much higher than others. Some video types pay much higher than others. And when I look at that, I constantly tell you guys that I think it's important to diversify into AdSense, brand deals, your own products, whether that's digital or physical products. And affiliate links are the little brother to brand deals, and we talk about that. I think you should own your own email list. I don't think you should be a digital sharecropper forever. I think that the platforms can change the rules, move the goalpost, and that when they do, you could be left out in the dust from that. So I think you need to own your own thing. I think ownership should be the end game and the goal. And I feel that what you should do is that you should have your own email list. You should have your own product that you sell, and that you should be driving some traffic, not all of it, but some traffic away from the platform. That way they cannot do something that you're going to be frustrated with. Like, for example, if you end up being suppressed, some people unfortunately lose their YouTube channels. You can be terminated, and then you're left with nothing after all this hard work. So I don't like that. So I don't like the concept of being completely all in on platforms. And it's because I don't necessarily trust that they always will get it right, or they might be mistaken, or they might do a policy change. They might not have your best interest at heart. And sometimes platforms have incentives, to play politics. Let's say it the polite way. They'll play politics sometimes. So if you want leverage and a hedge against that, you have to build your own email list, and you have to build your own products. You have to be platform agnostic, not loyal to a platform, not all in on a platform. And you can't have all your eggs in one basket like that. You need to be diversified in your revenue streams. If you own your own email list, you can even get sponsors. If you have a 25 to 50,000 email list, you can do $3,000 to $5,000 a month per sponsor for a 25 to 50,000 email list, as long as you have 50% open rates or higher. And so then you could make livable money with your email list. You use social media to grow your email list, and then you're not completely dependent on the brands. So highly encourage and recommend that a lot of you look into that. So like I said, this was some of the data on the revenue side. If I go to in analytics, what do I want to do? If I go to analytics, and again, we're going to go with lifetime analytics. I want to show you something in advanced mode. Content output by uploads. Let's do uploads, videos published. Yeah, let's do videos published. And then I'll show you something, and then we'll try and find some more metrics here. Videos published, and then we'll go with views. Yeah, YouTube has a little bit of data missing. That's annoying. YouTube data outage, not available for videos before 2023. Okay, we might have to change the date range and do a custom date range. 2013, apply. You might have to do a custom date range because of YouTube's data outages. So we'll do that. Really? Come on, man. Well, what about the videos added metric? I don't even know how it's counting that. We'll revisit that in a minute. Because is it because the secondary metric was also content? Possibly. Possibly. Examples of niches with the highest ad rates. I've actually done a video on this. If you actually want to check it out, I've done a video series on the, let's see, the niches, the most profitable niches in YouTube. I've actually done a series on this, and I try to not cover exactly the same ones every time. So that actually could be a good video series for you to watch. And again, I'm happy to answer your questions if you guys have any questions. I'm just trying to figure out what the data outage on this was, or maybe if this used some other metric other than views, it might be compatible with this. It might be subscribers is compatible. Let's try subscribers. And it's going to take a little bit of time pulling that data too. It'll give me subscribers, but it won't give me the amounts for videos published. So I guess that metric's not going to work, which is just really weird on YouTube's part. But what we can do is, wait, I wonder if it'll, what if I use this metric here? We'll just play with some of this and we'll get some metrics for you. In the meantime, I'll take some of your questions. I'll take some of your questions here. Almost eligible to turn supers on my channel, planning to use any revenue from it to fund the publishing of my own material off the platform. This stuff is invaluable. Thanks so much. Yeah, no, my pleasure. That's actually really cool. Let's see. Subscribers. Let's try using another data point. It's freezing up for some reason. No, we don't want videos published. We want, I mean, if it'd give it to me, that'd be great. But one thing you should look at is I'll tell you something you can look at that actually is extremely helpful is when you look up your individual videos. When you look up your individual videos and you can attribute the amount of subscribers to individual videos like it does over here. For example, when we can look at videos and then we can attribute the individual number of subscribers per video, we can actually look at what gave us the most videos, and then we could use a cutoff range and we could say, okay, we're going to take the videos that gave us the most thousands of subscribers, and then we'll make follow-up videos to that, and we'll make basically a trilogy out of any video idea. We can make a new trilogy out of any video idea that performed over a certain amount. And so then let's say if we used videos that got us 5,000 subscribers. If we used videos that we know got us 5,000 subscribers, we could say, okay, we found a bunch of videos that got us over 5,000 subscribers. So we're going to take those like 10, let's just say it's 10 video ideas, and we'll use those 10 video ideas and we're going to make a new trilogy based on the topics and what attracted those people. So now we have 30 video ideas that have the potential of those 30 video ideas to each be worth 5,000 subscribers at some point in the future, because we have provable data, which means that we can continue to attract similar audiences to that and we can convert them. And so we have a trajectory where if that number is 10 videos, we pick 10 videos, we're going to make a trilogy out of each of those video ideas. We're going to have 30 video ideas that have a 5,000 plus potential of subscribership. Then now we know we have a pathway to where we could get another 100,000 subscribers from by pursuing that video content. So that is something we can do if we can make it sustainable and if we can generate ideas off of that that make sense and are viable. Tom, what do you want? My cat has decided to compete with you for my attention right now. Like, Tom, you want to come up here? You want to say hi to everybody, Tom, or you want to fight? Hang on a second. So everybody, this is Tom, just like Tom and Jerry. You know, he's got the gray fur, the green eyes, and the white paws. So he's just like Tom from Tom and Jerry. So he's going to be co-piloting the stream right now. So he's going to be co-piloting the stream. But where was I? Let's bring the data back up. There we go. So if you can identify the videos that have the most overall potential for subscribers by going through, let's say, the top 20% of either that. Tom, do not touch the keyboard. Oh, Christ. Really? All right, Tom, you can't be on the table. Like, you can't be on the desk, Tom. Sorry about that, everybody. So if you can identify, where was that? Yeah, if you can identify the top 20% of your videos that produce the most subscribers, you could replicate those results. Now you could optimize in another way. You could also optimize around saying, well, which videos had the highest RPMs or CPMs? And you could optimize and say, well, I'll make more videos that make me more money versus get me more subscribers, because you would think that there'd be a correlation between, oh, well, whatever is the most popular on my channel will also make the most money. That's not always true. So you could optimize around revenue, or you could optimize around subscribers and reach, and you could decide to do that. You also, something that's helpful in general in a different way is to understand your audience better. So total addressable market. Total addressable market is down to demographics and psychographics. If you look at mine, the overwhelming majority of my audience tends to be older. Now, almost 30% of the audience is between 18 and 24. However, the overwhelming majority of you are either 25 or older, and it's not even close. So 70, basically like pretty close to 65, 70% of the audience is over 25. In fact, it looks like I might have more Gen X and boomers than I do Gen Z potentially. Well, no, Gen Z is now up to 25, so maybe not, but pretty close. But my primary audience clearly is millennials and Gen X. So, you know, that is what my demographics dictate. So if you look at what your demographics dictate, and then you think about that, it tells you and informs you of who your market is, what they care about, what the buying potential is, how you can align this to brands. Brands care about this. So if you have these numbers, brands will almost always ask for this particular number. And that's actually extremely important. The other thing is this number here, this younger demographic, this is the majority of who's on YouTube. So the thing is, when other people are trying to get views, people who are not necessarily me, they specifically build everything they want to build around this 18 to 24 demographic. That's why everything's hyper edited. That's why everything is meme culture. That's why a lot of things there are, because this demographic right here runs the entire platform. This one runs the entire platform. However, this over here to the right is what runs the advertising dollars on the platform. It really starts here. For most brands. Now, I'm not saying no brands care about 18 to 24. A lot of them do. I'm just saying that the larger amount of revenue for the lower amount of reach skews in this direction. It also is geographic data. Geographic data in terms of country plays a role, and they want you to have relatively over 50% of the Western market as well. So going more with a large Western audience with a higher buying demographic is kind of the goal. So in my case, over 50% US audience is in my favor, and then strong showings in other Western countries. So I can show clearly an over 60% Western audience, with them then having English speakers from other outlying countries. So the thing is, for me, that is what ultimately, and the thing is, I wonder if I can parse this for subscribers. We parse this for viewership. I wonder if we can parse this for subscribers by geography. Yes, we can. Okay, so the thing is, a lot of you may not even realize this. You can also figure out how many subscribers you have from each country. And you can do this in YouTube advanced mode. Most people do not realize that they can do this. So when we look at it from a percentage standpoint, it tells me the percentage. So out of all the subscribers that I've ever had, 35% of them are from the US, and then it breaks down into much smaller overall countries across the world. So that's an interesting metric to see in terms of your overall audience. So viewership is much more, viewership from the US is stronger than subscribership, but it's a close correlation. I have more viewers than I do subscribers in almost every country, which is also pretty interesting. But that's to be expected to some degree. But seeing where in the world your subscribers are for can be pretty helpful if you think about it. Yeah, a lot of people do not know about a lot of this data, but this data can be extremely helpful to you if you want to break it down like this. So what a lot of people don't also consider is that this breakdown of subscribers and viewers by geography, if we go to viewers, and we go to views by geography, I want you to think about this. This has a direct impact on your potential for ad revenue. This has a direct impact. I need to say that again. This has a direct impact on your overall potential for ad revenue. So take this into consideration when you consider, why am I not making more money, or why is my niche not doing as well? Does your niche attract a primarily Western audience? Does it attract a primary older audience, a buying audience, an affluent audience? Or is it a lot of people that might be young and broke, or might be from a country where there's going to be less ads or lower ad rates or less ads overall? And you can see that. And I can show you another thing. I'm going to show you something around percentages when it comes to your actual views versus the estimated views that come from advertising. So if we look at estimated monetized playbacks, you can look at how many, and what we'll do is we'll break this down for, I think we'll do estimated monetized playbacks. And the thing is, instead of lifetime, what we'll do is we'll do 365 days. Or we could actually just do 2023. We'll just do 2023. Because you'll be able to use this metric to understand basically how much of your content is monetized, and this will directly affect your ad revenue and your potential, because you'll be able to kind of get a general sense. And the thing is, if I can get this, do I want it by content, or do I want it by, I don't necessarily want it by content itself. I think I want it by, there's a lot of ways I could do this. I think I actually want to see if I can get it by date. I'm going to try and see if I can get it to break this down by date instead of by individual video, because that might actually be the more useful way to approach it. So I'm going to see if it will do that for me. No, I didn't want viewer age. I want it by, and I don't want that. I want the RPMs, and I want the estimated monetized YouTube playbacks. So basically I want to see how many views were monetized. Then I want to see it by date, and I want to see if that's a possible thing to be able to, so estimated monetized playbacks. If we can get estimated monetized playbacks by date, that could be actually very good information to have. All right. So if we look at estimated monetized playbacks by date, and then we look at it over the course of a year, it's giving us this. I wonder if it will let me, I don't want daily, I want monthly. Give me monthly. So let's see. All right. So I'm getting views per month, estimated revenue. Now I'm going to add estimated monetized playbacks. All right, so I got monthly estimated monetized playbacks. So when I combine that, I don't need watch hours. I just want to show you something. So if we see the estimated number of monetized playbacks and we see the number of views, we can start to get a sense of, okay, I got 3 million views, 2.3 million of those views were actually monetized. So now I get a sense of my monetization ratios. Okay. So like the reason I'm looking at this is I'm trying to figure out, okay, what percentage of my views were actually monetized? So basically from this standpoint, it looks like about 65% or more of my views might've been monetized. It's definitely more than half. So it's closer to 60, 70% of my views were monetized. And it depends on a given month. It's much closer here was on March versus April versus February, so on and so forth. So let's just see if we can sort this January, February, March, April, just for the sake of argument. Okay, great. So when I look at this, this is showing me the correlation between how many playbacks I got that were monetized. So they showed at least one ad impression during the video. So we know, okay, these were monetized, and then this is how many we had total. So we can start to compare that. Now, if you start to see that your estimated monetized playbacks are less than, let's say, 50 or 60% of your total views, you might want to look into that because something's going on there. Now, there won't necessarily be a ton you can do about it, but it is something where you might run into a tough spot. Primary example here for September, I know I was hit with the invalid traffic bug. I know I was hit with the invalid traffic bug in September of last year. Now, I still did okay on my revenue despite that, but look at this. Less than half of my views were monetized during that time. And then with December, less than half of my views were monetized during that time. I know I was hit with the invalid traffic bug on those dates, and that lines up with a difference, a big difference in the outlier amount of how many percentage-wise of my views overall were monetized. I know I was hit with the bug in September, and I know I was hit with it in December. So that's why my monetized playbacks end up being less than half of my overall views. And I know this because I don't upload YouTube Shorts. So all of mine are long form. So again, this is something that you need to be aware of, because with that invalid traffic bug, that's a big deal. This also affects a lot of you in terms of anybody who's susceptible to an audience with ad blockers. This would play a role as well. So this is just another thing that if you go into analytics, you start to understand YouTube better, you start to understand the YouTube algorithm better, you understand ad performance better when you understand how advanced analytics works and how to track that. Something now, if you want, for people who are like, okay, I want more algorithm talk specifically, the thing that you need to understand about the YouTube algorithm is this. You need to understand traffic sources, and that each traffic source has a different algorithm. So in 2023, the biggest source of traffic for me was suggested videos in YouTube. And so when you break YouTube down into its traffic sources, each traffic source has a different algorithm. Now, when they say suggested videos, these appear alongside or after other videos. So this is the stuff that's in the suggested bar, but it's also YouTube next up. So you can look at that. And that's one of the largest traffic sources on YouTube. Between that and the homepage, that's where 70% of all YouTube traffic, 75%, I believe, of all YouTube traffic comes from suggested and browse combined. The homepage browse features, the homepage is the single largest source of YouTube views in general across the platform, but suggested to be next. Search is about roughly 10 or 12%. The average view duration is crazy. Is it live streams? It's live streams and long form for me. It's lives and it's long form. And the suggested videos is primarily live streams. Per example, if I go into the analytics, geez, why is YouTube acting so weird? Give me a second. All right. If I go into like the content tab for YouTube, give it a second. No, I didn't say go into comments. I said go into content. Thank you. All right. So if we go into the content tab, it's going to give us some data. For this tab, we only get data for 90 days. So what I'm going to show you here, this is a little bit this is a little bit more data than most people are used to seeing. So 90 days is actually what you really want to look at in most cases. And this is cool because we get to see new viewers and returning viewers, and it breaks them down by format. Now, again, I only literally have 3 YouTube shorts on this channel, so none of that surprises me. I'm actually shocked at how much I get out of those 3 YouTube shorts. But yeah, I don't consider them relevant in any way. But this is what I get in 90 days, and you want to do 90-day overviews. Now, I'll get to a minute of how this applies to the algorithm, but because it's this funnel here and it's this donut chart here that applies to the algorithm. Literally, if you want to know what the YouTube algorithm is, it's this panel here. It's really, this is the YouTube algorithm. This is the YouTube algorithm, and I'll explain what this is in a minute. And this is how I know I'm doing fine for the YouTube algorithm. It's just my total addressable market has a cap. My total addressable market has a cap. If you're making educational and not edutainment, there's a difference. I make education content. I do not make edutainment content. If I made edutainment content, I would get more views, but it's not what I want to do. And other people do it better than me, as everyone knows. And as, Ronald was telling you, I'm not the happy, chipper, happy-go-lucky, cheerleader, sparkling Adderall personality. So unless I want to snort Adderall before I go on videos, I'm not really going to be a good edutainer, let's say. Okay. So that's not going to work for me. If you have a more blunt, straightforward personality, you're not going to be a good entertainer for the most part, unless you're going to do comedy and you're going to do reactions and you're going to dunk on people. Unless you're going to rip people apart, dunk on people, you're going to do that kind of commentary stuff, then you can't really be a good entertainer with a personality like mine. It doesn't really work. It only works in blunt, raw, dark comedy, and good luck not getting canceled in this day and age. So doesn't work. What I will say is those people will get more views, and it's not even close. They'll get more views, we'll get more subs than me, hands down. If I had the personality to be an entertainer, I would do better. If I faked my personality, I would do better. I'm not joking. If you want to win on YouTube, a lot of people, what they will do is they will find a personality to fake. So that's just how it is. But what I will say is there is a market for people who don't want to do that. You will not be popular, but you can make a full-time living and make it sustainable. You just will not be as popular. It'll be just like high school all over again. You have the happy, shiny people, and they'll be popular, and they will, get all the accolades, and they'll peak. And then you have, the people who will peak after high school. They won't be as popular, but you can be the valedictorian. You could be class president. You can be debate team. And you'll go far in life long term, but you will not necessarily initially win friends and influence people. So you just, you pick your lane and you stick with it. YouTube's high school all over again, forever. So what I will say is what you want to look at if you want to understand the algorithm is it's this funnel. The bottom of YouTube's funnel is watch time from impressions served. Okay. So it's watch time that initiates from impressions that YouTube surfaced. And then that watch time is accumulated as a result of the combination of click-throughs and average view durations. So from the amount of impressions that they distributed and surfaced for recommending your content. And then you can see here where they recommend your content, watch page, homepage, suggested videos, so on and so forth. That's a portion of it. It does not count when it comes to people seeking your content so far in as the subscription feed and the search page. So search and subscription is not what counts here. Homepage and recommended and watch page is what this is referring to. So when it surfaces those things in those locations, and then that has click-throughs that happen, that turns into your views from impressions, then your average view duration, and then those numbers combine to form your watch time. The watch time is the bottom of the funnel, which means that the watch time is YouTube's goal. So YouTube is optimizing, and the YouTube algorithm cares about one thing and one thing only. The YouTube algorithm doesn't care about your click-through rate. The YouTube algorithm doesn't care about your average view duration. It only cares about those things if and only if, in the end, it produces watch time. So if you have a high click-through rate and a low average view duration, it doesn't create meaningful watch time. If you have a low click-through rate, but it's really high average view duration, well, that might create meaningful watch time. If both things are low, it doesn't create meaningful watch time. If both things are high, it creates meaningful watch time. So the goal is, however you do it, high click-through rate, high average view duration, or low click-through rate, high average view duration, high, like extremely ridiculously high click-through rate and lower average view duration. Whatever you do, the end game is only one end game. Keep people on YouTube as long as possible. Accumulate thousands of hours of watch time for YouTube, which is why the gatekeeping on YouTube revolves around watch time. It is the most valuable commodity to YouTube. They cut the subscriber requirement for monetization down, but they barely moved on the watch time requirement. Why? It's the most valuable resource to YouTube is people watching videos as long as humanly possible. That is the essence of the YouTube algorithm. That is the essence of the YouTube algorithm. So Randy's Adventure says, hey, Roberto, I'm so thankful for our one-on-one coaching session about a year ago. Your advice helped me look at my analytics to make educated decisions. You're awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah. So this is what the algorithm wants from us. It's watch time. How we go about it is up to us. We can go with high click-through rates and okay average view durations, or we can go with high average view durations, low click-through rates. No matter what, the goal is this. We must get watch time. We must get watch time. That's how it is. Now, impressions from YouTube recommending your content. This thing basically tells you how well you're doing with the YouTube algorithm, and it can tell you that on individual videos. This is channel wide for me across 90 days. So this is what you would look at. Now, in terms of your video formats, viewers across formats, this becomes important because each format plays differently in terms of its algorithmic thresholds on certain things and which traffic sources apply to it. Each traffic source has its own algorithm. The suggested algorithm looks for different things. The search algorithm looks for different things. The browse feature algorithm looks for different things. And those are really the three that you will need to focus on. Browse features is just a way of saying homepage. Suggested is, those recommended videos and next up, and then search is search. And of course, if you do YouTube Shorts, there is also the Shorts feed, and the Shorts feed has its own algorithm. So the thing is, you look at the formats and you look at the traffic sources. So that's what ultimately matters. Now, when we click into this content tab, it'll tell us these things for individual videos. And then you can see here that measures things like the retention chart here. And then that becomes important. And then it also tells you here for the format of videos, I'm weighted heavily for regular video uploads. I'm heavily weighted on search versus homepage. Part of that is because I make how-to content. Primary example is if we look at this tutorial that's doing very well. This video is doing very well for me. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. And still getting views every single day. In fact, if we move from since published to since lifetime upload, you can see that on day one, it didn't do so hot. It only got 1,400 views on the first day. Then it goes very little, very little, very little. And wait. And now it's cumulative because this is a search friendly video. When people tell you SEO is dead on YouTube, when people tell you search is dead on YouTube, they don't know what they're talking about. Videos like this can feed you forever if you have enough of them. And I will show you an example of each. This one is a search video. Then I'll show you a video that did very well with the homepage. Then I'll show you the type of video that did well with the suggested algorithm, and we'll break them down. But this is a search video for that masters that algorithm. When I do this with tutorial content, and this is a shorter video, but it is almost 60% average percentage viewed. It had a more steep drop off because it used to be longer. I cut 20 seconds off the end. That was calls to action, and that was annoying to have to do that in post after I uploaded it, but it's what I had to do. And so I did that. I think there was also a piece of the intro that I may have cut. I don't remember. I think it's just the end, but Yeah, this is a tutorial style video with a 60% average view duration. The video is 90 seconds long. I wanted to make the shortest tutorial for green screen in Premiere Pro without making a YouTube short. And I wanted to demonstrate in the video that the technique itself, and I do that very early on. Within 5 seconds, you can see that I am using a green screen. I snap my fingers and it goes to green screen. So you understand the effect and that I'm showing what I'm telling, and I go back and forth in the interface. So you can see it's actually very, very ridiculously highly edited short form video. Because it doesn't have a mid-rolls and it's only a minute long, it did not do very high on ad revenue by itself. However, the CPM on it is $24. So not so bad. Now, when we measure the retention rate's good. The likes are good. The engagement around it's good. So we can see that this is a overall very strong video. Now, the key to its click-through rates is that not all click-through rates are created equal, because you're going to see this says, oh, well, of course this is, well, this is a 9% click-through rate. Looks can be deceiving. If I go into the advanced analytics and we then go to traffic source, the click-through rates on traffic source tell a different story. So the thing is, this has a 13% click-through rate on search, and search is 71% of its overall traffic. Okay, so it's a 13% there. On the home page for browse features, it has a 2%. On suggested videos, 1.8. Channel pages, 1.4. Playlist, 4.3. When you see the click-through rate in YouTube, the click-through rate is the average of all click-through rates across all traffic sources. That is why click-through rate, and when people on Twitter and whatnot tell you, oh, click-through rate, click-through rate, click-through rate, it's like it's not complete information. They're giving you incomplete information. The complete information is that you have to go into the traffic source and then look at the click-through rate by the traffic source, because the click-through rate in YouTube that you see in the overview is not the real click-through rate. It is the average of all click-through rates regardless of traffic source. So it's not the true click-through rate. This is important because depending on what traffic source it is, if you want the click-through rate and therefore the views to improve, you might change things differently for one traffic source versus another, because suggested videos are mobile driven most of the time, and they are just the next up or the suggested videos things. If it's suggested videos and you want to improve the click-through rate there, you might need to change the thumbnail. If it's homepage and browse features, it could be the thumbnail or the title. If it's search, it's most likely the title and the description that you'd want to change to improve the click-through rate outcome. So that matters a lot. Also for search, you can influence search clicks by having either the shortest video possible out of your topic, or the longest video possible out of your topic when it comes to search. There's other phrases that also work for search, like step-by-step, complete guide, beginner's guide, ultimate guide. Those things get you clicked in search. They may or may not, and long titles work better in search. Short titles work better in the home page and in the suggested. Those things make a difference. So traffic source matters. So you do have to account for that. Earl Campbell says, watch this for like 2 minutes and got more game than I've ever gotten in any how-to video. And I didn't even click on this video, just came on after something else I was watching. See, the algorithm at work. Let's see. I think I saw a super chat from Maggie, the substitute teacher. Appreciate you, and know you are helping us all. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yep. So let's see. Remote ATM says, if you're not taking notes right now, do it. I'm doing something similar, rebooting my best videos with update info, and growth has been explosive. Yeah, it's a really good strategy. It's a very good strategy. Yeah, a lot of people did not know. A lot of people did not know that you can do some of these things in analytics, and so that you can find these things. Yeah. So this kind of shows you a little bit of the inside baseball on this type of video. And like I said, a lot of people do not understand that portion. And so this is what the algorithm is when it comes to an individual type of video. Now, if we go for a video that is more, this is a recent video. Let's look at this recent video. I think this one's also search, but it's a little bit more balanced. This is a recent video. This video is from the end of December. So it's only about 2 months old. And you can see it's doing well. It's still doing well. And if I go here, it's stabilizing, but this is going to get a couple hundred views every day, probably for the rest of the year. And it'll pick back up during certain seasons. This one is at almost 40K views. I estimate by the end of the year, this video will be at about 80 or 90K views. And I have a lot of reasons I can go off of that and why I believe that. With this one, the reach, again, if we look at it surface, it says that it's 5.8. But if we go and we look at traffic sources, YouTube search traffic source, 9.2. Channel page is 5.8. Browse features, 4.6. So it's doing okay compared to some things for the homepage. Suggested videos, 2.2. It's low. So you see it's about the average. But ultimately, this does better in search than it does anywhere else. But it also isn't doing terrible on the homepage. So it's balanced between search and the homepage. And ideally, that's kind of a good sweet spot. Now, if I want to look at a piece of content, and so that was our videos. Let's look at live, because live is targeting the suggested. If you look at my live streams, because even someone here said, oh, I was recommended this right after watching another video. Almost 90% of all of my live stream views come from the suggested videos algorithm. And I've generated a very strong amount of views from the suggested videos, and notice that click-through rate didn't matter. So if we click on see more, and then we go, we click on traffic source, and then we can still do content type. Where is it for content type? Content type. Hang on. Do content, then secondary metric, and then can we pull a secondary metric for the traffic source? We might not be able to isolate. Oh, wait. No, we already have. All right, so we have it for live streams there. I want traffic source. Yeah, traffic source per live streams. All right, yeah, suggested. So we have that, and then we see the click-through rate. Look at this abysmal click-through rate on all of this, even on search relatively, right? But wait, the click-through rate didn't matter. I thought click-through rate was one of the most important metrics for YouTube. Nope, not when we account for the format of the videos. So for live streams, we see that I can get 89% suggested, and in 90 days, I can get 300,000 views. And I only started uploading it. I started only doing live streaming again in the last week. I haven't done any uploads for over a month now, by the way, over a month. I took January off. So I took January off, and I still generated that hundreds of thousands of views from live streams from back catalog with a less than 1% click-through rate, and still generated 300,000 views and 3 million impressions on suggested videos, which means that the suggested videos algorithm is not necessarily influenced by click-through rate. What could it possibly be influenced by? Look at those average view durations. Look at the watch time. wait a minute, I thought click-through rate was everything and that we all had to make the most clickbait thumbnails ever. I thought we all had to either smile and cheese like this, or I thought we had to make YouTuber faces. I thought that click-through rate was everything. The gurus told me click-through rate mattered. Wrong. As it turns out, when it comes to the suggested videos algorithm, see, this is the algorithm talk. You don't have to take my word for it. The data is clear. The data is clear. So for the suggested videos algorithm, the strongest correlation we can find for the suggested videos algorithm is cumulative watch time and overall average view durations. And in terms of surfacing impressions, that seems to track. The numbers are in. Because again, we did not need a high click-through rate at all. So that seems to be the indicator. Well, what about videos? Regular videos, when we go to traffic sources, we can see that a high click-through rate mattered a lot more for regular videos than the average view duration with regard to search. Now, click-through rate also didn't play as big of a role with regard to browse features. And then if we look at the total number of impressions, the total number of impressions were the same for search and browse features among regular video uploads, Now, when it came to suggested videos, with suggested videos, in terms of the number of impressions, the number of impressions was relatively the same there as well. But look at this. The click-through rate is significantly lower, but with half the click-through rate, we don't end up with half the impressions. So that still suggests that even for regular video uploads, that half the click-through rate did not result in half the impressions. But we also have a stronger average view duration among the suggested videos that were surfaced in terms of the impressions. So the opportunities that YouTube gave us for impressions when it comes to suggested videos seems to be tied a lot higher to average view duration and to cumulative overall watch time. It correlates more, or it would seem to. The data suggest that it correlates a lot more to average view duration and watch time than it does the click-through rate. Now, again, your mileage may vary. I would highly encourage you to use advanced mode and what you're learning here today, analyze your own channel and come to your own conclusions about how this works for you. But I'm also telling you that YouTube is a responsive system. So the algorithm, does this, does that. No, it's about the inputs. It measures what happens and it responds to what happens. It's not deciding what happens. So again, when we look at it, the correlation seems to not be tied for suggested videos to click-through rate, but rather to average view duration. And then when it comes to search, average view duration did not weigh as heavily when it came to search performance. Click-through rate, ironically, played a higher role when it came to search results. And remember, I'm not measuring that purely by views. I'm actually looking at the impressions that we got, because that's the opportunity to even get views. So that had a higher overall correlation there. And that's what ultimately proved to be the deciding factor. When it comes to the YouTube homepage with browse features, it's a little bit more balanced between the two, but it does seem to still favor, in terms of how close these outcomes are, still looks like click-through rate mattered more for search than it did for the homepage, and that average view duration mattered more for the homepage, and that average view duration mattered much more for suggested. That is what the data seemed to indicate out of all the things that we looked at. However, the biggest correlation between these things seems to be that YouTube's ultimate end goal is, do those things produce high levels of watch hours? So YouTube cares about watch hours and it cares about session time. That's what it cares about. And you don't have to take my word for it. The data is right there and is plain for us to see how many impressions we got correlated to what data point. And we were able to sorted out also by video format. Now, I don't do a lot of shorts, so I don't even know how relevant the shorts information we're going to go into looks like. But I will say that I don't get surfaced a lot in the shorts feed. I don't get a lot of my views from the shorts feed. And I do believe that my videos don't perform as well in the search feed. They overall, they perform overall when they're watched in a different place for some reason. But in the shorts feed, they get swiped away. And there's not, and click-through rate doesn't actually matter for the for shorts. The feature we're looking for is swipe away, and I'm going to see if I can find that a way to get to that here. Subscribers gained, lost, blah, blah, blah. Shares could matter. Shown in feed versus swiped away. Let's see if we can add those in here. Shown in feed, and then where was that? Shown in feed and viewed versus swiped away. Let's see. Shown in feed, viewed versus swiped away. So my total for shorts on viewed versus swiped away was about 69%. According to Jenny Hoyas, that needs to be about like closer to an 80% to do well. And again, I wasn't necessarily shown in the feed a lot in terms of the shorts feed for my YouTube shorts. So take that a little bit with a grain of salt. The main formats I focus on, at least for the main channel, when I'm done with my 100 uploads experiment on my highlights channel for doing YouTube shorts on my highlights channel, I'll share that data with you guys happily once I'm done with that experiment. At some point, I might find a way to compare that to my Instagram Reels and how it performed compared to Instagram Reels. But I'll have to put that into my own spreadsheet because there's just not a useful way to do it here. But yeah, so now we know that for individual formats, we kind of know how this works. And we can draw correlation between, now again, correlation, not cause. Correlation, not cause. So we were able to determine that when we were looking at live versus regular videos. We were able to tell which different traffic sources seem to be weighted by which metrics and what influences them. Now, when you look at my live streams in the last 90 days, my live stream replays have been killing it. And those views come from suggested. Suggested is all algorithmic views. So this also, by the way, suggests that I know exactly what I'm doing in the long term anyway. In the long term, I know what I'm doing. And for my chosen method of approaching YouTube, which is not going to be the same as someone who chases viral views, I'm doing a completely different approach to YouTube. It's let's say it's a little unorthodox. Now, if you want to know something interesting about your channel, if you want to know who your actual audience is, you can use 30 or 90 days, whichever your preference is. I use 90, but returning viewers and unique viewers, returning versus new viewers. So in the last 90 days, 300,000 human beings have watched my content. The problem with a lot of YouTubers is you guys will judge yourselves on how many views you're getting per upload. And you will also make the mistake of thinking your subscribers are your audience. Your unique viewers are your audience, and your returning viewers are your loyal audience. So I would judge it off of those numbers. I also think 90 days is the right way to view this. I also think that you should consider the amount of subscribers gained compared to the number of unique viewers that watched you. And I think even if you take out the returning viewers from that equation or something like that, you can get a better sense of how many unique viewers did I turn into subscribers. And I think that that would be a healthier way for you guys to judge yourselves. Now, if you wanted to think about in a 30-day period, you could look at it this way. All right, so I had almost 90,000 people in the last 28 days with no uploads, mind you, with no uploads, watch me. And then out of that, 22,000 of them were returning people. So that would be loyal over 28 days without me uploading anything. And then without uploading anything, I got almost 2,000 new subscribers. Again, but if I look at 90 days, and this only goes up to 90 days for this particular data, I believe, with a very minimal amount of content over a 90-day period, I think that this actually is really strong, and I would measure off of this. Now, the other thing you can learn here is if there's particular content growing your audience. In this case, it says no. You can also look at the channels that also watch your channels and then take inspiration from that. vidIQ, Think Media, Modern Millie, Nate Black, Nick Nimmin. No shock or surprise at all that that's who also watches my content. Now, here, YouTube, based on your own data, will tell you the best time to upload and what your sweet spots are. Yeah, I also have some common sense, though, and I'm like, I should live stream after 6:30 because people on the East Coast are getting off work. So, again, you can use this data. It'll even account for your local time zone, and this will tell you when the best time to upload is, because it'll say, hey, your people are actually on YouTube and using YouTube during these times and days. Then you can look for individual formats and know what other videos or shorts or live streams your audience is watching. So apparently some of you are really interested in faceless channels, whether YouTube can change your life, how to get your early subscribers. You guys really care about passive income. I can talk about that too. Becoming a full-time creator, YouTube growth, editing styles. So this all can give me inspiration. Oh, wow. Surprised how many of you actually do care about digital products after all. So again, this can give me a sense of who and what all of you are watching and in which formats. This tells you roughly how many people have all notifications on for your channel. For me, it's not a lot. So again, even in terms of like all notifications, subscribers who have all notifications on your channel and enabled YouTube notifications is only 5%. So this means that generally speaking, this is about how many people out of my subscribers could watch my videos because of YouTube's notification system. Everyone here knows how reliable YouTube's notification system is now, don't you? So, grain of salt. Now, in the lifetime of my channel, the majority of my viewers, because by the way, it tells you watch time here. If we click on see more, and I challenge all of you to do this. In fact, tell me in the chat if you know what percentage of your viewers are subscribed versus not subscribed. 80% of my viewership is not subscribed in the last 90 days, but I guarantee you that that's also true for the lifetime of my channel. Yeah, for the lifetime of my channel, and you can see this yourself. For the lifetime of my channel, 80% of my 41,000 views were from people not subscribed to you. YouTube subscribers do not help you get views. Views help you get YouTube subscribers. Now, in terms of average view duration, there's a 25% difference in the loyalty for average view duration of people who do subscribe to me versus people who do not. So that's a big difference. But if you look at it, it's undeniable that the overwhelming majority of views tend to come from people not subscribed to a YouTuber. And that's how YouTuber keeps growing. This is the 80-20 rule, sometimes called the Pareto principle. So another thing that you probably didn't know that you could find out about your YouTube channel. Obviously, you can look at gender demographics here. No surprise on this one. Age demographics, not too shocking or surprising to me at all. You can even see subtitle stuff. This will probably get updates as we get the AI audio dubbing from YouTube in the long term. So definitely some opportunities there. Let's see if we have any questions in the chat. Yeah. What having gone over this, what questions do you guys have? Jamil asks, what's the most valuable out of the three? YouTube search, browsed, or suggested? It really depends. It really depends. As you saw that with me, most of my views are coming from suggested replays of my live streams, and my live streams also probably have the most overall ads in them, which means I probably make the most AdSense money from the replays of the live streams. So it depends on what you're optimizing for. but I also haven't been making as much tutorial content. And if I did, that could give me evergreen videos that surface more, that can keep building long-term views, long-term money, and farm me subscribers. And that worked back when I was popping on my channel and getting 10,000 subscribers a month. That was primarily because of search when I was doing that. When I was doing mostly search content, that's how I was getting 10,000 subscribers a month, because my back catalog of all this search content could just keep going up and up and up and up and up, because I was uploading so much of it, because I'm uploading 150 videos a year. So it depends on what your goals are and what you want to take advantage of. Also with search, I was competing with less and less and less people. No one competes with me on search. And so I win on search because I don't have competition there. You can go where you don't have competition and win. And for me, that was search. Browse, I'm competing with everything in YouTube. I'm competing with Mr. Beast. So browse, homepage, you have to be the best thumbnail designer in the world, have the most interesting topic in the world for the broadest total addressable market. When I win on browse, it's usually for videos. Let me see if I can find you a video that wins on browse. There's a type of video I have that wins on browse. Is it this? There's a type of video I have that wins on browse. And by win, it's the thing you guys would care about much more than I care about. Y'all care a lot more about views than I do. A more general audience type video that can win on browse for me, I want to find like a money video, because that kind of plays into the concept of broader audiences. So let's go to a money video specifically, and then you'll kind of understand. Because then if I do a money video, that applies to more people, because theoretically, I think this might be a good example. Theoretically, anyone can make a video about money, versus not everyone can make a video about content creation. Let's see. Yeah, this was definitely a video that was about winning on browse, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so this video was titled, what was this video titled? This video was basically about everybody quitting their jobs and about the Great Resignation, I guess, and about being self-employed and about whether self-employment is worth it. 85% browse features. So this one won because it was a broad audience thing and it was on trend at the time. And 87% of all of its views came from recommendations. So again, does Roberto know what he's talking about? Yes. And I'll just make this bigger for you. So this video did 1.7 million impressions, 3.1% click-through rate, 84,000 views. This video made a lot of money. This video got me 1,000 subscribers. So basically, this video did almost 100K views. It did 85K views, almost 1,000 subscribers, and $1,500. Not bad. And all of its traffic basically came from the homepage, browse features, and then 5% from suggested. So like 90% of that was pure algorithm. It said 87.7% from YouTube recommending your content. So it was all algorithmic traffic, right? So this is literally look what it says. Recommendations on the homepage, 80%. Recommended on watch page, 7.3%. So this is literally an example of a video that won at the time with the YouTube homepage and got like, almost 90,000 views. Okay. And it was on a topic that has a broad appeal to people. And so, yeah, so that's how that one worked out. And who are the viewers? Not my subscribers. Is what we'll probably see. Yeah, it was mostly non-subscribers that gave it all this watch time. So, there you have it. So if you break down, well, how did this video work and what the deal was with it? So this video had a decent enough average view duration. It wasn't about its percentage watch. It wasn't about its retention rate. It was about its overall percentage watched. And so that mattered. And then if we look at its click-through rate in detail, it says it had a low click-through rate, but did it? Well, let's find out. traffic sources. So in the browse feature, yet again, in the browse, it did not need a massive click-through rate on the homepage to win. It got surfaced with 1.4 million impressions on the YouTube homepage, and it got 72,000 of its views out of the YouTube homepage. So did it really need, and then even though it got a good click-through rate and a good average view duration, no one was searching for this topic because it wasn't a search-friendly topic. It was everyone is quitting their jobs, the Great Resignation, the harsh truth about the Great Resignation. So this video was all emotional title, no capacity for search and being searched, even though it still did good on average view duration for the people who did click on it. It had a good click-through rate in search compared to everything else, but that was not going to surface impressions because no one was looking for it. No one was looking for it. So a video cannot win in search if no one is searching for it. That's how it is. However, if you can emotionally trigger people, random people, general everyday people, normies on the YouTube homepage, well, that will cause views. But it will be more about the performance on average view duration, not the retention, because the percentage viewed was not high. And that wasn't the deciding factor. And it didn't accumulate enough of the right combination of average view duration and click-through rate. It didn't have enough of the combination of those to get enough watch hours to matter for it to do well in suggested, which is why it got all of its views from browse. So that's how we know how the algorithm works. We literally can just interpret the data. By the way, knowing something doesn't mean you can knock it out of the park 100 times. It's not like a standardized test. Something in the real world doesn't work like standardized test. If you said, oh, I know this subject matter, you could score 100 on a standardized test or a high score on a standardized test every time, because that's static. The real world is not static. That's why someone can know YouTube, can know the algorithm, and not bat it out of the park every single upload or go viral every single time or even crack 100,000 views every single time. In fact, according to 9 to 5 Google, 88% of all views on YouTube got less than 1,000 views. 88% of them. Only, I think it was like 1.8% of videos on YouTube or some weird number like that. It was like 1.8% of videos on YouTube ever get 10,000 views. So when it comes to being successful at YouTube, overwhelmingly outlier success, outliers of outliers are overrepresented in the platform because all you see and all that is surfaced and shown to you is literally like 0.1%, the 0.1%. That's what's shown to you. And the other data on this is clear because they did a study. It was a data firm in Germany, I believe, did a study, and they said that 90% of all the traffic on the YouTube website goes to 3% of channels. 90% of all the views on the YouTube website goes to 3% of channels. 60% of all views on YouTube go to non-English channels globally. So again, out of that, it's not even the Western audience. So you literally only see the top 1%, and it's overrepresented, which means that you're not accounting for the more normalized version of what YouTube success is, because you're all going off outliers. If something doesn't get 100,000 views, you think it's a failure. Success actually starts at 10,000 views because you'd already be the 1%. You'd already be the 1% at 10,000 views in terms of views. Now, not the aggregate share of views, just the overall views that can be gotten or have been generated across all videos that have been uploaded since the beginning of the platform. So that just take that with a grain of salt and understand the difference of what we're talking about. And then the overwhelming majority of traffic on YouTube is international non-English speakers, 60%. 70% plus of all traffic, I think it's now 80% of all traffic on YouTube is from mobile devices. So when you start to really understand the data, you start to realize, I mean, less than 1% of all channels are even close to having a silver play button. So if 1% of channels don't even have a silver play button, then what is success on YouTube? Because 90% of channels don't have 10,000 subscribers. Success on YouTube begins basically with being monetized, because less than 10% of creators are monetized. Even with the new ad requirements, less than 10% of creators are monetized. And less than 10% of creators have 10,000 subscribers. And only about 1.8% of all videos ever get 10,000 views. So your metrics: be monetized, get 10K subscribers, get 10,000 views on a video, you're successful. It's the bottom of success, but it's success, because there's no way that you can't look at the top 10% of something, even if it's the bottom of the top 10%, and say that that's a failure. Being in the 90th percentile can't be considered a failure. At that point, we're being absurd, and we're saying, okay, if you're not a millionaire, it doesn't matter. We're being absurd at that point. Do you see what I mean? So it's about recalibrating, and I will never accomplish the goal of reframing and recalibrating YouTube success and expectations. It is a failing mission. It is a dead end to try to convince everybody that being a successful YouTuber is having 10,000 subscribers and getting 10,000 views on an upload, and just having your bloody channel monetized is already outlier success. It will be impossible for me to get that message to the masses. It's a failing mission. I understand that. I'm realistic. I understand that. But if I could literally beat it into everybody's skull, I would, because then it would cure almost all the depression creators have on this platform if they understood that. Every creator would stop being depressed. People would stop giving up. More people would be successful if they understood that that's all you have to achieve to be successful and to say that you're a success. Because the data indicates that. It's not something I decided. The data indicates that and suggests that, because it puts you in the 90th percentile. And you can't be in the 90th percentile and be written off as a failure. It makes no sense. So like that's the issue. Blue North Woodworking says, hey, Roberto, most of my views are on my one evergreen video from Google search. Is that bad? It's not ideal, but it's not ideal. It's not ideal, but it can benefit you because people are finding and discovering you. And it's because if Google ranked you, remember, Google owns YouTube. So it's not inherently bad. It's just not the ideal situation in most cases, but it's not bad. Yeah, Doug Houston makes a great point here. Analytics are not sexy, but like thumbnails and getting subscribers, but they can tell you so much about how your channel and your content is performing. I agree. Yep, I absolutely agree with that. This old Japanese house with 1,000 yen super chat. I believe that's about $10 US. So thank you. How was your day, Roberto? My day wasn't bad. There's some family stuff with older relatives. That's not fun, but it is what it is. But I didn't have a terrible day. It's just a lot sometimes. So AVD is different from accumulated watch time. Don't need a high AVD, more of watch time. It's that if it combined with the click-through rate resulted in a higher accumulated watch time, so it's both, just like the funnel in YouTube in the analytics dashboard suggests, it would be both, because it's a means to an end. What you guys need to understand about average view duration, click-through rates, it's a means to an end, and the end is watch time. So watch time is still the undisputed king of YouTube. Watch time is still the undisputed king of YouTube. However, there are different traffic sources where, as I said, it's weighted slightly differently in terms of what surfaces it more. What affects the potential for impressions overall. Yeah, my big average view duration mostly comes from live streams. That's for sure. Yep. Again, if you have questions, ask them in the chat. Try to put a Q in front of your questions. While I'm waiting on some of your questions, meantime, it's a great opportunity to remind you about our wonderful, wonderful sponsors. So our friends over at Streamyard are how I'm able to live stream this on Facebook, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, Twitch, and X.com, formerly Twitter, all at the same time. Excuse me. So make sure you're checking out StreamYard, 100% free to try it out with my link in the description down below. You could also get one of their great, powerful pro plans. I've been using StreamYard for years. I even pay for features outside of them being a sponsor. So I'm actually still a customer and they're still running my credit card. So that's probably a ringing endorsement. So definitely check out our sponsor, StreamYard. Thank you to them and to our friend Puddles for sponsoring the stream. We also got OpusClip. OpusClip is perfect for repurposing. Don't put all your eggs in the YouTube basket. I multi-stream with StreamYard, but then I take those things and I repurpose them as clips across my other platforms so that I can grow on other platforms such as Instagram, LinkedIn, and X.com, formerly Twitter. Y'all can rock with TikTok if you want to, but I don't. So use OpusClip. It is one of our great sponsors. They've actually been really supportive, and they're going to be bringing me to a couple of events where I'll be able to meet some of you in person. And finally, our last sponsor that we definitely have to shout out is our good friends over at Kajabi, where I build my business outside of YouTube so that I'm in control and I have ownership. I don't want to be a digital sharecropper at the mercy of AdSense for the rest of my life. I love sponsors and I love brand deals. But what I also love is turning my viewers into my customers, having an email list, and having access to them without an algorithm getting in the way. So for that, I use Kajabi, and it is my business in a box. So make sure you're checking out all of our great sponsors. Links are in the description down below. Boom. And again, as all of you know, sponsors are the majority of most YouTubers' primary income source. My sponsors are probably my biggest overall income source, but I do all right outside of sponsorships, and I don't rely on AdSense. So there's always that. So let's see. Keisha Gregory, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, Roberto, any suggestions for someone with 64 subscribers? Plan to keep making videos for sure. Thank you for sharing your insights. I recommend you watch my video that I did on, so for this one, watch my video that I did on how to grow from 0 subscribers on YouTube. You'll want to watch that video. It's the video I uploaded in December, so that's there. That's perfect for you. Also, watch my video that I did a while back on how to get your first 100 subscribers, and watch the video on how to get your first 1,000 subscribers. That is ultimately what you probably need to do, Keisha. Your main thing is you need to upload consistently, probably 2 to 3 times a week. You need to work on your thumbnails, most likely, and get those to be as good as possible, the best that they can be for your level, and just keep going down that road. But mostly you need to watch those early subscriber videos that I told you about, my how to start with 0 subscribers on YouTube, and how to get your first 100 and how to get your first 1,000. Oh, we can put the like button on super chats now. Excellent. Yes, StreamYard is legit. We love StreamYard. What program, Brian Weber asked, what program are you using to get email contact info from viewers, subscribers? Just started 4 weeks ago. So for that, I have 2 links referenced in the description of this. You can start a free email list to capture this with ConvertKit. Okay. So I use ConvertKit to get people onto my email list. And the way that we get people onto the email list is actually I offer a freebie that people can download. And this one is the 12-week YouTube creator playbook. So I made a 12-week guide for YouTubers at any level, but especially new YouTubers, to help them. And what I do is I give them a focus, a resource, and an assignment to do over the next 12 weeks that will help improve them as a content creator. So because I gave away a really good freebie that is better than what some people buy in terms of like little $2 ebooks or whatever, I gave away a really good freebie. I am able to get people's email in exchange for that. So if you guys go to the description right now, there's like 151 of you watching. I expect every single one of you to go to the description of this video, grab the 12-week creator playbook so that I see 150 of you signed up today for it. And I get your email in exchange for that, and it's delivered to your inbox, and you get this 12-week guide that will make you a better content creator. By the way, Keisha, Gregory, you need this 12-week creator guide. This is going to help you grow as a creator because it will give you work to do. It gives you a focus, a resource, and an assignment, and it gives you a week to focus on one thing that you can improve. I based all of this on a concept called the 12-week year, and so we can actually compress the ability to grow as a content creator. Instead of struggling for a year, we can do it over the course of 12 weeks and cut the curve and the time to get it done. So 12-week guide is free. And again, when you pitch something like this, this is how you also get people on your email list, Brian. You make a really cool download for them. You tell them about your newsletter. You capture that, and then that entitles you to get that email by giving something of value. So that's how we do it. This is how we do it. Yeah, so that's how we do it. Hope that answers your question. Hey, Roberto, healthy food and good roof long-term is success. With the I Quit video, which I think is possibly a lead into your content, how did it affect the channel overall? It got me 1,000 subscribers and it made me $1,500 and it got me a ton of views. So it had a good impact on the channel. Fazu says, question, not for my channel. Would it be below average, above average for a faceless Minecraft channel to have an average of 29,000 views for a 959 sub channel? There's no such thing. I know that YouTubers in gaming and young YouTubers love to obsess over the concept of a view to subscriber ratio, and view to subscriber ratios are not real. View to subscriber conversion rate is real. View to subscriber ratios is not. The amount of subscribers you have does not decide how many views you can or should get. I've already proven and debunked this multiple times, not just with my channel, but with multiple channels. Subscribers do not decide views. Do you know why? There's no amount of views you should get on average because you have big subscribers. That's a goal that people set for themselves. It has nothing to do with reality. It has nothing to do with reality. Here's why. You can only get views in proportion to the impressions that YouTube is giving you. It does not matter how many subscribers you have. And why do we know this to be true? And I'm not mad at you, Fazu, but this is just an issue I have in general whenever I deal with gaming YouTubers or whenever I have to deal with younger YouTubers in their 20s, especially all the kids on Twitter, is that this is just a common misconception that was created by a culture of big YouTubers who do not understand as much as they claim to about YouTube. Just because they're successful at it doesn't mean they fully understand it the way they think they do. I talk to people at YouTube all the time. I talk to engineers at YouTube. I interviewed the VP of YouTube. See, a lot of people will challenge me on this. I talk to the people. I go to first-party sources for information, not just my own channel. And I've reviewed hundreds of channels. And I've coached 500 creators directly. I'm going to show you something that's going to make more sense. I'm going to reduce this chart down to the following metrics. I'm going to reduce this chart down to views, subscribers, and impressions, and I'm going to make my point. You can only get views on YouTube in proportion to the amount of impressions that YouTube gives you. It has nothing to do with subscribers. In fact, I'm going to hide subscribers. We're going to pretend subscribers don't exist on YouTube. So if we pretend subscribers don't exist on YouTube, look at this. You can only get views in proportion to the amount of impressions that YouTube gives you. Quite literally. YouTube is giving me 400,000 impressions. 400,000 impressions. And as a result, I've gotten, 400 million. I've gotten 400 million impressions from YouTube. I've gotten 400 million impressions from YouTube, almost 500 million impressions. Therefore, I have 41 million views. That is 10% of the impressions that YouTube has given me in my lifetime as a creator. 10% of the impressions YouTube has given me is the amount of views I'm allowed to have. Nothing more, nothing less. I cannot get, like, you know, like I cannot get more views no matter how many subscribers I have. I cannot get more views than the impressions YouTube is able to give me, able or willing to give me. I cannot get more than that. And I can only get them in proportion to the impressions that YouTube is able and willing to give me. And those impressions are determined by how big the overall market of interest for that idea actually is at the time. Total addressable market. That's all that matters. Total addressable market decides how many views you can get, because it decides how many impressions YouTube can find. And then it's a matter of how many of those impressions resulted in clicks. And 10% is actually not bad overall. So that's all that matters. That's all we can do. And the thing about that is, let's see. Subscribe. Let me see if I can find it for subscribe status. Views for subscribe status. Will it give me that while giving me the impressions? I think I have to click a different metric for that. Subscription status. Okay. And then let me see about impressions. Let me see if I can get impressions. I don't know if I can. So that's a little dubious. Okay. So of the 41 million views I can get out of the impressions YouTube gave me, the overwhelming majority of it was going to be from non-subscribers. The overwhelming majority will be from non-subscribers. And I'll just temporarily hide this so you guys can see there. It's going to be from non-subscribers. So I cannot get more views than the impressions that YouTube gives me. In this case, I got 10% of all the impressions YouTube gave me. And of that, 80% of those are from people who are not subscribed to me. Subscribers do not matter in terms of impacting the number of views you can have or should expect to have. And this is not Roberto saying it. This is the data saying it. And you can pull as many YouTubers, get as many YouTubers to pull this data and screenshot this as much as you want, and you will see a consistent pattern here. And that subscribers do not determine the overwhelming majority of views for the overwhelming majority of YouTubers, regardless of how many subscribers they have. Regardless of how many subscribers they have. They can have 10 million subscribers, and I will promise you, even if they have 10 million, especially if they have 10 million subscribers, that the number of views they get is disproportionately from non-subscribed viewers. It may not be 80-20 like mine, but it will usually be more than half. I promise you that that's the case. Unless your name is Mr. Beast Jimmy Donaldson, that is probably true. Even at 10 million subscribers, I promise you, hand to God, that you can pull 200 YouTubers that each have 10 million subscribers, and they will have most of their lifetime views from people not subscribed to their channel. They will have most of their 90-day views from people not subscribed to their channel. I promise you that that will be the case. Subscribers have nothing to do with how many views you can have on YouTube. Yes, that data is only available, unfortunately, for the channel owner, which is why people who don't know anything about YouTube, who are just viewers, cannot see the back-end data. They cannot see the truth about YouTube, so they make assumptions. And that's where the whole view to subscriber ratio and expectations and judging channels on that actually came from, is that it's only people who can't see any data and don't know anything. And another point of that is, like I said, if you go and you find unique viewers for a channel, for like the entire channel, if you go and you find the unique viewers for the last 90 days, that's someone's real audience. Someone's real audience is I mean, even if you use 28 days and then you go to the audience tab, YouTube doesn't show viewers this, only creators see this, but somebody's audience, okay, people would expect, oh, well, if you had 88K views per upload, we believe that you have an active audience, Roberto. It's like, no, people watch what they want. They don't have to watch my latest video to be my active audience. They can watch any video on my channel and they're my active audience. They can watch any video on my channel and they're my active audience. I have 600,000 subscribers. It doesn't matter how many views I get per upload. In the last month, without me uploading anything, almost 100,000 out of 600,000 people, again, it doesn't matter if they're subscribed or not, watched my content. So it's not like I have some dead channel when 100,000 people watch something from me. They just pick and choose. And in a 90-day period, where I still am not uploading consistently, by the way, I uploaded, 5 videos in 90 days? That's nothing. That's nothing. That's like, in 90 days? In 90 days, that's like uploading 2 videos a month. Barely. Like, what's that? 2 videos a month? Not even. That's not even 2 videos a month. And I got 300,000 unique viewers, and I got 64K returning viewers in that time, uploading less than 2 videos a month. So that's not a dead channel. That's not an inactive audience by any stretch of the imagination. That's just a supply and demand curve. That's a supply and demand curve. That's why I told you all that my highest performing YouTube experience has always been the years where I upload 150 videos a year. I'm telling you that for most content creators, quantity matters more than quality. It can't be bad quality, and it has to be quality and quantity of something there's a demand for. And quality and quantity of something there's a demand for is called value. And so it's about what is valuable to the total addressable market. So the total addressable market size determines the number of impressions we can get, and then the number of clicks that we do get from that then translates to the number of views that we get. Value equals views. So the thing is, if someone doesn't value something, it's a smaller overall total addressable market. Value equals views. Again, that's not because Roberto said so. This is because the data suggests it. This is Renee Ritchie. This is our friendly YouTube creator liaison. He says, same for my personal channel. About 10% of potential audience appeal and how competitive your videos are for that audience will typically bound those impressions. Absolutely. So that ratio is about the same. So when we look at this, we have to consider all of these different variables. Renee has a follow-up here. He says, and subscribers often watch from home, not the sub feed, because the chances of an ideal match is much higher from the full corpus of YouTube than the small subset of subbed channels. Absolutely. And that's why the number of subscribers we have doesn't directly correlate to how many views we can expect. It's usually going to be the homepage, which is the largest traffic source of all YouTube traffic that there is. And it's usually the homepage followed by suggested. Search is the minimum. So it depends on your content type and it depends on your format. And now the shorts feed is also competing with that. So you can look at the shorts feed as another competitor to rival the YouTube homepage. But if you don't make shorts, you're invisible to those people. So that's another caveat. And that's another part of this. So you have to take all of this into consideration. YouTube is much deeper than people think it is. So when we ultimately are explaining the algorithm and when we're thinking about this, it's important to just actually look at the facts that the data suggest. You have to look at the facts that the data suggest. Now, the culture of YouTube says one thing and the data says another. And so that's the problem, is we have a culture that misinforms creators. And I like to go to the source. That's why I talk to Renee Ritchie, YouTube's creator liaison. I talk to Amjad Hanif, the VP of creator products at YouTube. I like to talk to as many YouTube product engineers as I can. I like to talk to people like Todd Beaupre. I had the pleasure of meeting CEO Neil Mohan. I try to see what it is that the people who build the product think, how they approach it, why things would be the way they were. Look at the UI UX design. Look at the data that they're measuring. Look at the fact that they are literally is in the content tab, these things that they are measuring and breaking down, and that they give us an actual funnel that kind of dictates what the end goal for YouTube actually is. So I try to go off of that. Here's another thing. Watch time that originated from the impressions for the selected dates range. This does not include watch time from sources where impressions do not track. So again, I just read what all of this like says and what it means. Watch this. It even says you can increase the chance of YouTube suggesting your content by increasing your click-through rate and your video watch time. Listen to this. You want more impressions. This is why we looked at watch time as the primary factor that was influencing the surfacing of impressions. This is what we were able to measure. We were able to measure and deduce that watch time was the most impactful thing. But here's the thing. You can also just read what YouTube is telling us. Because here, look at this. It says it on the screen. You can increase the chance of YouTube suggesting your content by increasing your click-through rate and your watch time. The big key there being watch time. Click-through rate is valuable because it starts the clock. This starts the clock. Watch time cannot be calculated without a click occurring. So click-through rate is valuable because it starts watch time. Average view duration is important because it creates watch time in proportion to how many clicks we got. So if we can start more people clicking the video, then keep them watching longer and as much as possible, it creates more watch time. Watch time performance is used to determine impressions and surface us to more people. And then the virtuous cycle continues in a loop. I'm going to probably make an infographic drawing this as a loop. Impressions result in clicks. Clicks result in average view duration and clicks create watch time. Watch time creates impressions. That is the YouTube algorithm. So Roberto, how do initial impressions happen? Initial impressions happen at upload of a video, and then all aspects of a video are taken into consideration in terms of your video's metadata, which consists of multiple things. What is a video's metadata? Well, when we make a video, everything about the video is part of the metadata that determines what the video is, and therefore we can find out what the total addressable market of a video is. So this video's title is metadata. A catchy title can help you hook viewers. When you create video titles, it is good to include keywords. See, it didn't say include tags, but it does say include keywords. So understand the difference. There's a difference between keywords and tags. Tags are not as important as people think they are on YouTube. And tags are not the most important thing, even if you do care about SEO. But keywords are. And YouTube themselves, in the interface where it says title, says that it's a good idea to include keywords your audience is likely to use when looking for videos like yours. Keyword strategy matters. SEO does matter. Tags are not the same thing. You're conflating keywords and tags, and I understand the problem with conflating keywords and tags, and that most YouTubers do it. Most YouTubers end up spreading misinformation for this reason. YouTube, word of God, hand to God, YouTube from the source says include keywords. So what are the keywords for mine? How to start a YouTube channel is a keyword. How to start a YouTube channel is a keyword. 0 subscribers is a keyword. With 0 subscribers, I know that that's something people search. How do I start a YouTube channel with 0 subscribers? Whole thing, okay? New YouTuber is a keyword that I want to surface for and that I want to rank for. So I know that those are my keywords in here, so that's why they're in my title. And it doesn't matter that my title is long. We see that it's still working and that it's still getting views when we look at the analytics. We'll go there in a minute. So what else is going on in here? Well, there's a description. Writing descriptions with keywords. Oh, there's that thing again. There's that thing again. Writing descriptions with keywords. Keyword strategy. This is why I talk about keyword strategy. This is why I have a dedicated video on this channel about a live stream, dedicated live stream about keyword strategy. Writing descriptions with keywords can help you find your videos more easily through search. So it matters for search. And you can give an overview of your video and place keywords in the beginning of the description. Okay. And so what I do, watch this before you start a YouTube channel. I know even that is a keyword phrase that people use. If you're a new YouTuber with 0 subscribers, 0 views and 0 subscribers, I know that that's one. So for getting started on YouTube, that's another keyword that I'm using. And then, of course, I link to my creator playbook that you can download and to my group membership and to my book and blah, 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 blah. Okay, but what else is metadata? Well, there's all kinds of metadata. And another piece of metadata is your thumbnail. And so your thumbnail is something else that ultimately drives click-through rate and starts that virtuous cycle. So YouTube is able to use your title and the keywords in your title to figure out who your total addressable market is. It's also able to use your description to do that. And it's able to use your thumbnail to attract those people. And that starts the virtuous cycle of trying to get clicks on your video, to start watch time, and to measure the watch time performance and average duration of your video. And if it initially accumulates watch time, usually in the first hour, 24 hours, and 72 hours, it has a good understanding of who is and is not likely to click on this video in the future. Therefore, it can surface more impressions based on that initial performance of first hour performance, first 24-hour performance, first 72-hour performance, and is then able to use that performance data and how much watch time you accumulated relative to the impressions that you got, and then figure out who that serves best. And then it tries to get impressions and surface to more like-minded viewers like that. But that means it can only give impressions and surface to who it identified as the potential total addressable market for the video. TAM, total addressable market, TAM. We keep saying it. So why? So that is why. We also use these exclusionary criteria, and this helps us. This helps out YouTube. Now, this stuff here, less important, but the automatic chapters can use the transcript of your video to somewhat determine key points of interest, and then you can be surfaced. You see that in search, you see that even in suggested, and so that matters. They're doing other things now like experimental concepts, so that can help. Now, tags are not by themselves inherently important, but, and it says otherwise play a minimum role, but that's according to YouTube. But again, it says can be useful, so grain of salt. How useful is this? Not as useful as your title. I would say not even as useful as your description, not as useful as your thumbnail. I would also say not as useful as another feature in terms of closed captions from your transcript. So accurate closed captions and transcript are probably much more important. Your language determines the total addressable market. The language you have determines the total addressable market. Subtitles determine the total addressable market. All of these details determine the overall total addressable market that you can get impressions from, and then impressions decide the view cap of your videos. And how do we know that? Well, we know that because when we measure the reach, I've got 500,000 impressions. I've got almost 40,000 views as a result of that, which means that my raw overall true impression to views means that my real click-through rate is actually closer to about roughly, maybe an 8 or a 9%, something like that. If this was 50K, we'd know it was like 10%. It's about 8.5. So you can just invert that. So we know that. Now, here's the thing that's going to trip you up. We're going to change this here to since upload, and then you're going to see something. I got my most impressions, and actually let's click see more, because then I can show you this. I can show you impressions, and then we'll compare impressions to views over time. So look at this. I got my most impressions the first day of upload, and therefore the most views the first day of upload. And then I got a little less impressions, and then within 72 hours, we had the strongest drop off after 72 hours. But then, because YouTube had kind of started to figure that out, we start getting more impressions again, more impressions, more views, uptick, 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 and so on and so forth, trickle off, and it's starting to pick back up again. So again, we cannot get more views than the total amount of impressions that we're allowed to have, which is determined by the overall market that YouTube is able to determine based on all of the factors available to it. And it uses some of our subscribers as a testing and proving ground for that when we allow the video to be distributed to our subscribers by not unchecking a certain box. And so then we found this many unique viewers for it. We had this much watch time, so on and so forth. And so ultimately, this is what decides our fate, is the number of impressions we can get decides our fate. then we can only extrapolate so many views from that. My amount was close to 10. It's probably about close to like 8.5 or something. So, it's something. So it's not quite 5.8, even though it says that, because that's just the average of all traffic sources. If we go to traffic source and you look at it, here's where we're at. So most of my views are from search, and it's 9%. So it's like close to 10, like I said it was. Then for browse features, that's where it's closer to that 5%. And you can see that, and so on and so forth. You can see that the thing that gave me the most watch time also gave me the most views. And you can see a correlation between how much watch time I get from a traffic source and how many views I get from a traffic source. You can see also some correlation between that and the amount of impressions that I'm getting. And then we can also see that here accumulate over a period of time. And so this reveals the algorithm. This is the algorithm's behavior revealed to us on full display. This is exactly how YouTube works. And you don't have to trust me. You just have to trust YouTube's analytics and data. So it couldn't be simpler. This is the reveal. The problem is there's a limit to how much control you have over this. And you have to accept the reality of how limited your control is over this. Now, there are a lot of strategists who will tell you have more control over this than you actually do. I think that what you have to start with is your ideas and understanding, well, no, before you start with your ideas, you have to start with the audience and figure out what is a total addressable market that is big enough for me to be satisfied with my ego that I can get views out of. And then what are my abilities and competitive advantage for that total addressable market? How do I stand out in that market? So you have to figure out whether you're going to be a big fish in a small pond. I am a big fish in a small pond. Some of you will be a small fish in a big pond, but you'll be small in the ocean, but still bigger than me in my lake. That is the difference. And that's the difference between the interpretation of, well, if you know how YouTube works, well, can you get views? You can, to the extent that your market allows for, by virtue of how many potential impressions you can get at any given time. Now, over time, the impressions on this video will increase, and then the views will also increase in that virtuous cycle. And the reason I know that is this video. So this video has the views that you guys are looking for. It has close to 100,000 views. It'll get 100,000 views at some point. So this is the thing y'all like, 100,000 views. Can I get 100,000 views? So the initial views on this video in day one were only 3,000 views. So again, day one performance is not always the overall deciding fate of a video. Keep that in mind. And so then this video did a little more views on the second day. And then absolutely craters on the third and fourth day, that 72-hour cycle. But wait, YouTube was able to evaluate the total potential of that audience and then allowed it to continue to accumulate more views and so on and so forth. And now it's at a trickle, but it can still keep getting some views over time, but not more than the impressions it is allowed to get. As you can see, the less impressions it gets, the less views. The more impressions it gets, the more views it tends to get. And that's over a period of time. And in this case, a lot of that was the homepage because I used a triggering thumbnail and title. 90% of YouTube channels fail. But I added a caveat: how small YouTubers, my keyword, can succeed on YouTube. So as a result of that, I got these results. Now, as you can see, there's an outsized amount of views and impressions based on the watch hours accumulated over here versus just mere click-through rate over in search. Unless people search, then suggested and browse gave me. And so that's why this video wins on algorithm. This video wins on the algorithm. This video wins on its overall browse, homepage, and suggested video traffic. And it's based on a combination of click-through rate and average view duration that results in more watch time, Watch time gives us back the virtuous cycle of more impressions. And you can find that correlation in your data over and over and over again. You will find this to be true. Most of the time, this will be the case. Impressions are tabulated in relative near real time. Near real time. I'm trying to find what Jonas is saying because I think he has more than one comment here. For example, you may have 10 million subscribers and YouTube could randomly decide to give a small exposure impacting negative views. I wouldn't say it'd be random. It wouldn't be random. If you had 10 million subscribers and then you didn't get a ton of views, it's not at random. So we go to youtube.com and we go to like the WWE. Okay. They have almost 100 million subs. Okay. WWE has almost 100 million subs. This is a really good example right here. So you'd go, okay, the WWE has 100 million subscribers. Every video from the WWE, we would think should be able to get 1% of those subscribers to watch. So WWE should have 1 million views on every upload. No excuses, because that's 1% of their 100 million subscribers, right? Well, let's put that to the test, shall we? I'm going to also be extraordinarily kind and give them days upon days upon days to get to 1 million view like video on this case. Now, again, look at this 5 days ago. Let's compare 5 days ago. Here's a video with 1.8 million views because it's Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton. Here is Chelsea Green. Here's Natalia. And oh, these don't even crack 100,000 views. Well, wait, I thought all we have to do is make quality content. The WWE's content quality is going to be consistent no matter what, meaning all of its editing, production value, story value, your investment, and all of this is the Royal Rumble. All of this is the same event, the same night. So it's all the Royal Rumble. So why the discrepancy in almost 2 million views versus 200,000 views versus 84K views? Because not everyone cares as much about Chelsea or Natalia as they do Roman Reigns or Randy Orton. So you have a massive disparity and discrepancy in views in a high production, high value, globally named brand with people more famous than almost any other YouTuber in the global marketplace, by the way, not just on YouTube. And look at this. A channel with 100 million subscribers has videos that can't crack 100,000 views. Now, the Royal Rumble was 5 days ago. Oh, well, there's so much content to watch. All right, well, let's go and scroll back to content from 2 weeks ago, and we'll see the same thing play out even when they've had 2 weeks to accumulate views on videos. So let's try that. So we go to 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks ago on a 100 million subscriber channel, we have videos that can't crack 100,000 views and videos that can. Videos that crack 1 million views and videos that don't. Back to back to back to back. Oh, well, they must be burning out their subscribers or over. Nope. There's 100 million people here that can be split off into any of these videos. So why can't 1% of the audience watch the videos? Why is it that even 0.1% of people can't watch the videos? Because even though all of it is wrestling, all of it is WWE, it's also other things. It's Roman Reigns versus Samantha Irving versus Ludwig Kaiser versus it's Raw versus Nitro. It's Royal Rumble versus Raw. It's superstars versus divas. It's this one versus that one. So the thing is, the total addressable market for people who care about Level Up is different than the total addressable market for people who care about SmackDown. The people who care about SmackDown is a different total addressable market than the market for the Royal Rumble. The market for Logan Paul is different than the market for Roman Reigns. So it's down to the uniqueness of every single video. Every single video itself has a different potential and a different cap. And if a channel with 100 million subscribers and is a globally recognized brand that's worth billions of dollars with the highest production values ever and world famous talent sometimes doesn't crack 100,000 views, it's nothing for you to worry about as a content creator. When one of the biggest marketing companies in the world worth billions of dollars can't pull it off, then with famous celebrities to boot, it's not something you need to really be ashamed of or think too hard about. And this is why view to subscriber ratio doesn't matter, and why it's a dog crap metric that YouTubers came up with to pat themselves on the back when they're winning and to be depressed when they're losing. It's not real. But the thing is, we can only judge it at a glance and a surface because no one can see your analytics to see the truth. And no one understands the concept of total addressable market and overall individual video potential. But I can use this to prove my point from one of the most undoubtedly successful YouTube channels of all time. This is one of the 20 largest, most subscribed YouTube channels in the world, making some of the highest quality content in the world, the undisputed champions of sports entertainment, the best in the business, the best in their category. Yep, it is interesting to see. So yes, each video is specific content. And that's not just you. That's not just the WWE. That's for all of you. So yeah, so again, 10 million subscribers, 100 million subscribers, this makes a difference, understanding this. And yes, the individual investment in each show, each wrestler, each segment isn't the same. Roberto is right. Yep, exactly. Yep, but showing this helped me explain your answer for me though. Yeah, exactly. The whole, again, until I explain it, most YouTubers themselves do not understand it. Until I show something like this, where they can't dispute or haggle for the quality of the content, the notoriety of the content, the size of the market, the audience. Like when I use the WWE as an example to explain how YouTube and the algorithm works, it becomes undisputable that this is correct. You can't just go off of YouTubers who only specify and specialize in going viral every time they upload and think of that as the standard of looking at YouTube's behavior. But when I look at this, it kind of just proves the point that I was talking about how every individual video has its own unique standard of how it can perform and its own unique video potential, and that there are some things that have a bigger market than others. It's not purely about quality. Quality content doesn't decide views. What is valuable to viewers decides what views are, because even when something's not high quality, but it's a trend, it does well because it's demand. It is supply and demand. It is nothing more than supply and demand. It's not really about the quality, it's about value. Supply and demand, you can think that quality can affect demand. Don't get me wrong. Quality can affect demand, but other things outside of quality affect demand as well. Notoriety and popularity. What is popular is not always good, and what is good is not always popular. Something can be popular even when it's not good. It can be trash and be popular, and therefore it has demand. Junk food has demand. It doesn't have to be good for you. It doesn't even have to be good. It can still have demand. Bad things have demand. Bad people have demand. You see? So quality is not really all it's cracked up to be. I'm not saying make something low quality. I'm making a point to saying you can try your little heart out. There are plenty of people who make high quality content on YouTube and don't get views. It's about what people value, and value is in the eye of the beholder. Value is usually based on packaging and perception. Not the reality of the quality, but the perception of its value. Perception of value beats the reality of quality in the eyes of a consumer. In the eyes of a consumer, a creator will feel differently. How does YouTube determine that from keywords and descriptions? Because it's able to determine what something is. And when it can determine what something is, it can determine how many people have previously given attention to that and would then give predictable attention to that in the future. So it can figure out, do you watch more Raw or do you watch more NXT, or did you watch the Royal Rumble? Did you search for that? Did you watch it previously? Do you watch Raw? Do you watch Logan Paul? Do you watch Roman Reigns? Do you watch Natalia? So the thing is, it can see that in topic, title, and thumbnail. It can also recognize faces in a thumbnail. It can recognize text in a thumbnail, and then it can make all these determinations, and then it can go off of your watch history and decide something. Now, here's the thing. Aside from an account that I set up to watch, I no longer have a watch history. I no longer have an algorithm. I'm doing this to cut my screen time down. I want to use screen time for work. So the thing is, if I want an algorithm, I have to switch my YouTube account to an account that I use just to watch content and then have an algorithm, but I have to have a conscious choice to do that. And I do that just as a health measure to stop my screen time and my watching so I can be productive again, so I can start making 150 videos a year again, and so I can do 2 to 3 live streams a week again. So to get my productivity up, I had to turn off my algorithm so that I'm not an addict. Yes, please smash the like button from Roberto. Please smash the like button. So yeah, you say it all makes sense. Yeah, I hope that makes sense when I show you this. So again, like when we go into the analytics for this video is from, like this, this is a video from last year, and you can see the data. This is a outlier performing video, 90K views, almost 2,000 subscribers from those 90K views, 9,000 watch. See, it's like, it's all correlated. Look at all these nines. Look at all these nines, and look at the 1.8. It's a factor of 9. It's all math. It's all math. So again, 1.5 million impressions, almost 100,000 views, almost 10%. Almost 10%, probably closer to about 8 or 7.5. There you go. It's all math. And you cannot get more views than the impressions allow for. And some people, sure, I'm getting close to 10%. Maybe somebody smarter than me would be able to turn that into 30% of the impressions they got would turn into views. Maybe someone else would be able to, instead of getting almost 10% of all the impressions YouTube gave them to turn into views, someone else might be able to make it 30%. It's very rare, but that's where you would go. So you can only, as I said, you can only really get impressions from YouTube in proportion to the amount. Sorry, you can only get views from YouTube in proportion to the amount of impressions that you get from YouTube. And so if I go to that, let's see. And so if we look at my live views, my live views for 90 days is 365. My impressions is 4.3 million. So again, a little less than 10%. My impressions from videos is definitely less than 10%. It's 2.6 million, but 170,000 views. So again, it's all about the correlation between how many impressions you can get and how many views that delivers to you. For shorts, I only got, my shorts is almost a 1-to-1 ratio, it looks like. So that's weird. So that might be why shorts do better for people if they make successful shorts. That could be interesting. So 1.7 shown in feed, 1.2 views on shorts. So again, if somebody makes shorts, if you're wondering why do people get views for shorts, look at the difference in the correlation between the views to impressions I did for live and for videos versus shorts. So that's a much more 1-to-1 ratio. Would you say if you're not ready to put in 10 years into doing content on YouTube to see results, stop now? In life in general, most of the fruit of your rewards in life in general will come down to whether or not you're willing to put in a decade of discipline, one way or the other. I, over a decade ago, left the 9-to-5 workforce. I saw fruit from that after 5 years, but I'm seeing the real fruits and happiness in lifestyle from that after 10 years. That might have taken much less, though, if we hadn't had a couple of years of a pandemic, though. So I would say that in life in general, your prime benefit to any endeavor definitely somewhere comes between in 5, 10, and 15-year intervals in life in general. That's my experience as someone turning 40 this year. Hey, good, clean, healthy living, right? So as somebody turning 40 this year, I would tell you that my experience in life dictates that 5, 10, and 15-year intervals determine what you get out of anything. That's why at some point I'm going to write a book called The Decade of Discipline, because I really feel like if you commit to an endeavor, a skill, a task, anything for like 10 years, it's very difficult to not see fruit come from that if you are consistent across 10 years and disciplined across 10 years. But most people, they just have time and they say, I've been doing something for 10 years. It's like, how much results did you output in that time? Because I'll give you an example. See, the difference between me and most people, and even why I'm successful on YouTube, is because regardless of results that seem on the surface like, oh, you didn't get this many uploads or blah, blah, or sorry, you didn't get this many views or whatever, like Jack Hole sometimes wants to razz me on. I have a very, very interesting thing that I can show. I have published 1,663 videos since I've been on YouTube. I've published that many videos, and hopefully I can finally sort by date. So I would love to sort by date. And then I'd love to, this only gives me views by date. Man, I really want it to give me uploads by date. But again, for it, if it sorts by years, it gives me the views. These are the outcomes. These were the years I wasn't really doing anything. The year I committed to YouTube was 2023. I said, I'm going to take this seriously in the summer of 2023. So half of the year was gone. Half of the year was gone. And then I was like, I'm going to take YouTube seriously. And then the next year, I was still taking it seriously. And the year after that, I was taking it seriously. And then after 3 years, 2013 to 2016, after 3 years, look at what happens. Because I took it seriously. Here and here. And then we had, and we all know what happened in 2020 now, don't we? But in 2023, the comeback. So again, correlation there. What I'd like it to show is, if it could, I wish it would show the number of videos published, because yes, theoretically, all right. So finally, I got the data to, okay. So it doesn't show, unfortunately, 2023 data. But in 2014, I published 250 videos and I almost got 1 million views. Then I published 365 videos and I got 3 million views. And then I published 300 videos in 2016. And that's when I got my 100,000 subscribers. And so boom. And that's what did it. So again, if you look at the trajectory of my entire YouTube career, look at this. The number of videos uploaded or published, let's say, number of videos published correlated yearly against the number of views acquired. And if you look at the data across those two vectors, quantity has been my friend and ally. It is literally in proportion to the number of videos that I make. And by the way, this will also be true if we measure my subscribers by date and my videos published. Subscribers by date and videos published. So boom, boom, subscribers. My subscriber growth is literally year over year. I can only get subscribers in proportion to the amount of videos I publish, and that decides the amount of views that I get. There's a direct correlation between the number of videos that I publish in a year and the number of subscribers I get. If I publish only the average of roughly one video a week, I will get 30,000 subscribers, which again is an online timeline to get you 100K in 3 years. But for me to do 100,000 subscribers, I have to publish between 150 and 200 videos to consistently get 100,000 subscribers. And if I publish 100 videos a year, it's about 60,000, 70,000. So you can see the law of averages for my channel. And that's just what the data suggests. After I went from daily and my quality got better, that's what the data suggests. So this is why I also advocate for consistency in the quantity versus, oh, well, if I just make the videos better, to diminishing returns. There's only so much quality that can make up for quantity, and there's only so much quantity that can make up for quality. You have to find the sweet spot for your channel. I found that the sweet spot for most channels that are not gaming and most channels that are not vlogging, if you're not gaming and you're not vlogging and you're not extreme stunts and pranks, this does not apply to you. The general sweet spot for every other content creator is generally 2 to 3 video uploads per week, if possible, and 1 to 4 live streams per month, if possible. And there's caveats for shorts. The best strategy for shorts is obviously daily shorts. If you're going to play the shorts game, play it daily. But and I would say 2 to 3 shorts per day. In extremes, you could go to 6 to 8 shorts per day in certain genres. But yeah, that's how I would play it. Now, again, I've coached people in every category of YouTube of the 14 major categories and helped someone get a play button in each of the major 14 categories that YouTube has. But there are nuances and differences for each niche. I try to talk in generalities, or if I need to exclude a category or a group, I do. Like I just excluded most gaming, not all, and mostly extreme stunts, pranks, and vlogging, because those are so ridiculously hyper-specific that there's certain things you have to do there to where the generalities that I'm saying don't apply. But for most general audience content, for most working class creators who do content and have a 9-to-5 job that they work 40 hours a week, what I'm saying applies to them. And it's reasonable, and it's by the numbers, and it's what the data suggests. It's not just what I want to believe. The 14 categories, you can look up the 14 categories in Social Blade. They're there. They list them. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I can only name maybe 9 off the top of my head, but Social Blade has all 14. We were toying with going back to daily videos instead of 3 a week. Our best year was 2022 when we put out a video every day. Actually, for living on a dime to grow rich, and I've actually coached with them. I would tell you guys that you could survive and sustain daily videos, and it would probably do a resurgence of growth to your channel if the quality does not diminish as a result, and you guys aren't exhausted or burnt out as a result. Then you guys could actually pull it off, for sure. I would say that politics also benefits from daily uploads for sure. Politics and anything that is in a polarizing niche benefits dramatically from daily swings at YouTube. She So Jazzy J says, I'm reaching my 3rd year. I'm taking YouTube seriously. I'm hoping to really start growth this year. Yeah, when I started taking it seriously, you can tell the difference. Because again, look at these years where I straight up was not really publishing content. And then look at when I was. So I started in the last half of 2013. I started in summer 2013. So that was literally me going, okay, I'll upload weekly videos. And then in 2014, I went to near daily in 2014 and massive growth by comparison. 2015, daily, gained the most new subscribers by doing that. And then 2016, boom. And by the way, these numbers are not total subscribers I had. These are how much I gained per year by my effort. So again, 25 videos, 6 months, 1,700 subscribers, first 25 videos, but 250 videos in, and now having done it for a year. So after a year of effort, I gained another, 14,000. And then by grinding it out for, 365 days, I gained another 50,000 by grinding it out. And then, boom, grinded it out again, gained 100,000 for that year with 300 videos. I had to make hundreds upon hundreds of videos to do that. And then I grinded another year and was able to get similar results, but with slightly less effort, about 2/3 of the same effort, almost a little more than 2/3 of the effort. So same result for 80% of the effort. And then I got very close to a sweet spot where I'm like, okay, I can bring my effort down a bit more and get close to the same result with 90,000 for the year. So like that was about the sweet spot. When I did anything less than that though, 100 videos only gets me 60,000 a year. 150 gets me 100,000. This is the proof is in the pudding. So I can see a direct correlation between the number of videos I publish and the number of subscribers I can gain in a year. And so I measured this out. And this tends to be the case if the quality is good enough to grow. So then I had to get my quality up to a certain point before I could start taking down, because then I found a balance between quality and quantity, because it's not like my quality went to leaps and bounds. I did get better. I did improve, but I couldn't have gotten to quality without quantity. I had to grind to learn to make better content and to become comfortable on camera and to master my speech cadence, my topics, my presentation style, my lighting, my audio. I had to get good at all of it. And it took time. It took time to develop the skills. It took me 3 years to develop the skills. And so after about 5 years in, about 4 years in, I would say, about 4 years in, 5 years in, I got to a leveling off point to where by doing about a third of the content could still produce the best outcome possible. And the thing is, now I could ramp up to, that level. And that's about where I would be at, is if I want 100,000 subscribers in a year, I have to make about 150 videos in a year. Because I found my level. This does not include shorts, by the way. This is non-shorts. I've only ever made 3 shorts on this channel. I've made hundreds of shorts, but not on this channel. So I hope that when you see this, it just kind of reveals a pattern here, because very few YouTubers will show a decade of work and growth and what the results are and how the measurement works and the data points around it. And again, I've done this. I've looked at hundreds upon hundreds of channels, had their, data at my disposal, and it's worked out for me. And I've learned a lot by analyzing all the different channels. Pedro DoorDash Santiago says, in your opinion, do thumbnails really matter? Not in my opinion, but it's not about my opinion. It's that the data suggests that thumbnails do matter considerably. Now, there are niches where they matter more and matter less. And the thing is, if you guys are looking and thinking that Sam Sulek, for example, a lot of people are going to call Sam Sulek's content low effort or his thumbnails low effort. And here's the thing about it. Do you guys want me to teach you about Sam Sulek and tell you the truth about how he's winning? Because the reason that Sam Sulek is winning is not what you think. It's not what you think. The man is walking clickbait. The man's walking clickbait. That's why he's winning. So again, you see all these simple thumbnails. Y'all think that these are simple, low effort thumbnails. These are not low effort thumbnails. Do you know why? If these are low effort thumbnails, why doesn't every man's body look like this? The man is walking clickbait. He put in years to get a body that looks like this, so that when you take a picture, he is interesting. When you take a picture of this man, it's immediately more interesting than every single one of your Instagram profiles. That's why Sam Sulek is winning. Sam Sulek is winning because Literally, by existing as Sam Sulek, he is more interesting than you and me and 99% of people in the entire world. It is more interesting to watch a day in Sam Sulek's life than to watch a day in 99.9% of all the human beings in the world's life. Now, the other thing you may have noticed Sam Sulek is doing is, what is he doing? The same thing I did, but more interesting. He is uploading daily content, but he is more interesting than everybody else. And look at the length of his videos. His videos are very long. They keep people on YouTube. They give YouTube what? The thing it really wants. The watch time that we talked about. So Sam Sulek has an instantly clickable set of videos because it's too weird to ignore. Look at his body. That is too weird to ignore, too interesting to ignore. If you're a bodybuilder, too good to ignore. And so it's interesting. And it can give YouTube all this watch time. And because he's doing it every day, he has multiple at-bats. He has multiple opportunities to get the most views, most watch time possible. And then the thing is, for some people, they keep returning and they're addicted and they keep sharing and they keep talking about him. And the watch time goes up and up and up and up and up. So the thing is, by whichever means you can accumulate the most watch time possible in the shortest amount of time possible, that is what the YouTube algorithm wants. His thumbnails can accomplish that because his thumbnails are interesting and weird because they are him and he is interesting and weird. You can be a random person, have no intention of going to the gym, have no intention of working out, and you can still click and watch this video out of morbid curiosity and give it 5 or 10 minutes that you didn't give something else. Out of morbid curiosity. And then he's interesting, authentic, and he's a nice enough, down-to-earth guy to where you're like, okay, you know what? I'm watching for him now. You have no desire to look like this, but you might still just be, this is an interesting guy. This guy's more interesting than most people at my job, is what you might be thinking if you're a regular person. So he has content that is clickbait to a regular person of, here's this weird, interesting guy with this weird, interesting physique and situation, and he keeps going, and wow, he keeps going every day. And like, man, why can't I even just get into the gym twice this week, 3 times this week? What am I doing with my life? So the thing is, that works. And again, is attractive to a certain demographic of people to watch. A lot of guys will watch this and will be motivated by it. Even if they have no intention of looking like this, it'll be something interesting and something to talk about with other people and something to maybe get them motivated and inspired. But it's also weird and interesting, even if you have no intention. And then listening to him is interesting. Listening to Sam Sulek is interesting. So again, you can say this is low effort, low produced, low quality. I would argue it's not, because the workout is not low effort. Though the thing he's doing in the video itself is not low effort. That's the thing that a lot of you are missing. You think that high effort is a thumbnail and video editing and special effects like Mr. Beast. Doing the impossible thing is also high effort. Doing a thing 99% of humans cannot do, which is lift this amount of weight, is also high effort content. Having this body is high effort content by itself by showing up. You win by showing up if you put in a decade of work to be someone who wins by showing up. This also is true if you are like the greatest violinist or pianist in the world. This works also if you're Lindsey Sterling and can dance while playing a violin, and then it wouldn't matter how good your thumbnail is. And as long as the music is good and we can hear you and we can see her, it could be shot on a phone for iPhone 15 today, and it would work if you're Lindsey Sterling and you dance while playing a violin. It is weird, it's interesting, and 99.9% of humans on the earth can't do it, and therefore it's worth watching, and therefore it's worth viral views. And again, he didn't blow up and get viral views right away, and this is mostly people going back and watching his old content, kind of like what we're doing here, is like, because again, there's a reason the first video has 1 million views. It's all everybody going back and watching him versus these other videos. And even that, it's still people, the trickle effect of watching the first handful of his videos to kind of start with the journey and kind of see where he started. But again, and these are still not bad views at all, even in the early days. But this is also really interesting content for a large enough group of people, not for everybody, but for more than enough people. And it just goes on and on like this. And the thumbnails do improve. The lighting improves. And so on. And the thing is, he keeps doing things that work. He sees certain poses or certain things work, and so he does them. As simple as it is a strategy. And so over a cumulative period of time of making more and more content over and over and over again, and it's long content, by the way, it's long content, inevitably he wins. And so when you understand this, Sam Sulek is walking clickbait. He's walking clickbait. He can retain interest. He has 20 to 30 minutes to get as much watch time as possible from as many people as possible. So with how long his videos are, even if most of the audience doesn't watch through the entire video, if a small subset of the audience watches all the way through, it will accumulate more watch time than the majority of videos on YouTube can do. Think about it. If 20% of Sam Sulek's audience watches to the end, think about how much watch time that is. Think about how much watch time that is if 20% of his audience watches to the end. That would beat somebody making a video that is 10 minutes, getting 60% of their audience to watch to the end. He would beat them if 20% of his audience watched to the end. And the majority of videos on YouTube that people want to upload now are under 10 or 8 minutes, and they're worried about short attention spans, blah, blah, blah. So guess what? He wins, because if he has even 10, 20% of his loyal audience, it beats 70% of someone else's because they're going for shorter content. He wins. More watch time is more watch time. And so that's why too many of you are studying retention rates wrong. It's more about completion rates. Yes, the drop off in the beginning of the videos, that hurts you. Oh, absolutely. But what about all the people and how many people you can get to watch the end of the video? Even my own data with some of these live streams proves that that will then get you more impressions and get you more views. That's why I have 4-hour videos on this channel that have 100,000 views sometimes. It's because of the 10% of people that watch all the way through or rewatch parts of the video. And that's why if I get an hour average view duration, I win. If I get a half-hour average view duration, I win. If I get a 40-minute average view duration, I win. And that's why Sam Sulek is winning. And most people, this goes over their head. But it's that simple. Get people to click, get them to watch as long as possible, get them to do it again and again and again and again and again. And that is why quantity, if good enough quality, can win if people value it. That's why value beats quality and quantity, because it is the combination on a long enough timeline of both. Value for the viewer. Value is about attention, interest, attraction. And then if we remember Roberto's 5 C's of clickbait, Roberto's 5 C's of clickbait are curiosity, controversy, contrarian views, conflict, and conspiracy. So those are the 5 elements, right? Conspiracy. Oh, is he a natty or is he taking roids? That's conspiracy. It's also controversy because it's polarizing. It's also contrarian. There's conflict because people can debate about it. And then you're curious because, oh, wow, this guy's weird. This guy's interesting. Wow, how did he get like that? What is he about? What is he going to talk about? What is he going to show us? How is he doing that? So it has actually all 5 of the best elements of clickbait in it to a degree, because the audience can have conflict and debate over the virtues, even not over debate whether he's a natty or whether he's on gear. They can not only debate about it, they can debate the virtues of it and say, who cares? So there's conflict. So there can now be debate. So that intrigues people because they can defend their point of view or evangelize their point of view or attack someone else's point of view about the subject matter. So there's that. Controversy, that's already built in too. He's a nice guy, but the polarization is around whether or not, well, is this healthy or is this realistic? So there's that. But then he's a nice guy. So he doesn't lose on the polarization of him living his life. It's that just some people might disagree with it. And then there's obvious curiosity built in because, oh, that's interesting. That's weird. That's different. I don't see that every day. So there's, oh, that's too weird to be true. Wow. Is that photoshopped or is that him? You know? So curiosity. So we said again. So we explained conspiracy, we explained conflict, we explained curiosity, we explained like conspiracy, curiosity, conflict, controversy, contrarian. Again, contrarian points of view. He's not inciting contrarian points of view, but people have contrarian points of view about him. So those, so that's inherent. You only need one of the 5 C's to actually get views and to win. I would say all 5 are built into a lot of what he's doing just by the nature of existing as he does. And that's the trick. Most people are not interesting enough living their own life to generate this kind of attention. Most people have not lived such an interesting life that they can generate this type of attention. Now, there are other ways to live an interesting life to generate this kind of attention. Be a world champion pro gamer. Be a world champion athlete. Be a D1 athlete. Be a runway model and show us your life. Be literally a rich kid and show us your life. That'll work too. Like, be an engineer like Michael Reeves and build robotics and show us cool stuff. And again, he's not doing that on the daily, but still. So that's the kind of thing that you would like. I can explain almost any YouTuber's success, to be honest with you, because it's not about YouTube. It's about human behavior and psychology. The thing you're all getting wrong, and why I want you to stop obsessing about the algorithm, and why I want you to understand total addressable market, market psychology, audience avatar, audience affinity. Why I want you to understand all of these things in human behavior and psychology is because the YouTube algorithm is only a consequence of human behavior and mass market group psychology. Yes, and sometimes you can decrease volume, but if you increase the video length and duration, yes, I agree with you. If you increase the video length and duration, sometimes quantity isn't necessary. If they're longer and then you get more watch time hours, the subs can go up. I agree with that. Income tripled when we posted daily and it wasn't chump change either. Yeah, that's what would happen for me too. Like for me, I'd make 100,000 a year on ad revenue. Well, not ad revenue. I'd make 100,000 a year from the YouTube partner program if I post 3 times as much, aka 150 videos a year. I absolutely make 100K from the YouTube partner program. As it is, though, I make more than that through sponsors and then coaching and so on. But I'm not going to turn down the 100K. So yeah, I might as well post more videos. And yeah. Posting less can give you your life back. Trust me, that's true. So it's about finding your cadence and finding your lifestyle. I am not trying to tell you guys to do daily. I'm not trying to encourage you to do daily. It's not for everybody. I do love this comment from Flight from Reality. Sam Sulek is walking proof that YouTube only cares about watch time. If you can make great thumbnails and videos, views are almost guaranteed. To some degree. But again, you have to figure out what great is for who. Great for who? See, everyone tries to make the general rules of great, but great for who? That's why you have to figure out who your audience is. Sam Sulek's videos are not probably great for the majority of women to watch. They're not even great for the majority of men to watch, but he found a subsection of men that will watch him that doesn't have to appeal to everybody, and he only has to cater to that group of people. What would you recommend for a niche like music where a song might be around a minute or two? Actually, on my Faceless music channel, the way I did it was I started making 3-hour compilations of my songs. Our 3-hour live streams are watched at 20 to 30%. Nice. Yeah, exactly. That's the way. Yes, the 5 C's of clickbait are curiosity, controversy, conspiracy, contrarian, and conflict. Absolutely. First Class Thinking says, saw you live on X, came over, currently working on my 3rd video ed and listening to this gold. Thank you. Yep, appreciate you. Yep, please smash the like button for Roberto. Absolutely. What psychology books do you recommend we read? Ooh, this is actually very good. I think there's one called The 12 Laws of Likability. I think that's by Michelle Gretchen, I think, or something to that. I'm trying to remember her name. Unfortunately, my name is her name is slipping from me. But the 12 Laws of Likability would definitely be a good psychology book to read. Start with Why by Simon Sinek would be a good one to read. What else? Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. Choose Your Enemies Wisely by Patrick Bet-David. That would be good. Hook Point, definitely a good one. Learning about a lot of it in the context of content creation. Read my book, Create Something Awesome, How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. I would definitely recommend that as well. You want to read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Believe it or not, that one goes a very long way. You want to learn about persuasive speech. There's another book called How to Talk to Anyone. You definitely want to read that. That one's also good for persuasive speech. You want to learn about persuasive speech, NLP. You want to learn networking. You want to learn human behavior and psychology of selling and sales. You want to read Good to Great. Good to Great is another good one. Why We Buy. So those would be fantastic. That would be fantastic for you. See, do you do channel reviews? Sometimes I do channel review streams. I just haven't decided on a schedule for them. I also do individual paid one-on-one channel reviews. You can find that at awesomecreatoracademy.com. I think the link is in the description. Yes, 11 Laws of Likability is by Michelle Litterman. That's right. Gretchen is another author. I forget her last name, though. But yeah, Michelle Litterman is the author of 11 Laws of Likability. That's the one you should read. Absolutely. Sam Sulek found an audience they watch, and then people trying to figure out how he's doing are also watching. Exactly so. Do you plan to post that many videos in 2024? Sounds insane, but you can do it. Yeah, my plan is to post about 100 to 150 videos, 100 to 150 videos minimum in 2024 is my new goal. And yeah, so that's something that I'm working on. I'm also working with 5 brand partners right now, potentially a 6th. So from a financial standpoint, I'm doubling the revenue from sponsors, probably doubling the revenue the business brings in as a whole. I plan to launch the Brand Deal Secrets course around how to do long-term brand deals, UGC, NIL, how to price, market, negotiate, package, build media kits, do all of that stuff. We're also going to include all of the media kits done for you in the Brand Deal Secrets course. So later I'm going to sell that this year. This year I'm going to sell that. I'm hoping that we can get 500 people to buy it. I'll do a pre-order probably for the first 100 people, and it'll be 90% done when we do pre-order. But we'll just discount it to like the first 100 people or something like that. It's a massive discount. Plus, let them get into a free live private workshop webinar with me. We'll probably do 2 rounds of doing that. The goal will be to sell 500 of them at roughly full price. That'll be, or even if some of it's discounted, so that'll be wildly successful if we accomplish that in terms of increasing revenue. We'll have a massive year for that. We believe that as a result, is if we sell 500 copies, we also believe that at least 10% of everybody who buys that particular course will decide to become a Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group member and will join our community over there. So that will then also be massively successful because we plan to try to double the number of members we currently have. We have about 80 members right now. We plan to double that to about 160 members. We plan to sell 500, 600 of the course when it releases for the brand deal stuff. The good news about the brand deals course is it's actually easy to quantify, because if you spend like $600 on a brand deals course, the measurement of success is, do I get more brand deals? Do I price myself higher? Do I have more opportunities? Am I increasing my rates? And the answer to that is yes, you're increasing your rates and you're getting brand deals. The thing is, we only really expect people to buy that if they already have a channel going. And it could work for people getting their first brand deals, but it's actually ideal for people who are trying to make more money from brand deals that they're getting. And also people who don't understand how management works, how talent agencies work as well. We want to give you inside baseball on that. I will give a warning to everybody right now. Never do a brand deals agency or management company that wants any of your AdSense revenue. They only are supposed to take your sponsorship revenue. 20% is the industry standard, and they have to bring you those sponsorships. If they try to take your AdSense revenue, run the other way, it's a red flag. They should not get AdSense revenue for work they're not helping you do with your channel. They should get brand deal revenue for helping bring brand deals to the table. So that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. And whoops, meant to do that. And that's a whole thing. So I plan to put out, like I said, 150. Excuse me. We have a lot going on. Plan to put out 150 videos for the year. Releasing hopefully in the next 2 weeks a 12-week free email course on top of the 12-week creator playbook. We're going to do a 12-week email course, and that one's going to be free. We plan to release 3 free webinar trainings that'll all probably be about roughly an hour or 90-minute trainings. We're doing updates to all of our existing products. Every month, we're doing an update to one of our existing products until we've updated all the products this year that we already have. We're releasing the Brand Deal Secrets course, like I said. We're going to do probably 2 rounds of workshops around that for people who pre-order it. We're not going to announce the pre-order until the course is I feel like it's 80 to 90% done. The reason we're going to do any of the pre-orders, the 2 rounds of pre-orders, is we're going to get feedback from those first 100 people in each round. We're going to get the feedback from them to take the course from what I feel is 80% complete, to get the refinements, to get it to 100% for them. And so that's why we'll give those people a discount. Plus, we'll do a live workshop with them. And the live workshop will also help us improve the offering as well when we go to final for it. So that's probably going to happen around March. And then a plan is to, over the course of the year, for us to do 500, 600 sales between me and then any people we who decide to help sell it as affiliates. But those will only be invite only affiliates at 30%. And so the math on that works out when we do it. Me and my team worked out the math on that. So those are the big projects. The other projects are the speaking engagements in collaboration with the sponsors. VidCon, possibly speaking, both East Coast and West Coast, we hope, if we work it out. Vid Summit, again, as long as Daryl still likes me. And podcast movement, we're working out those details, hopefully. And that's currently and then Content Creator Expo in March. Content Creator Expo in March. Kajabi Heroes Live, which I think is in July or May or July. Probably in Dallas for that. So those are the main ones that we're looking at in terms of events. It's possible other events might come up. Craft and Commerce, ConvertKit with Nathan Barry, Craft and Commerce might be on the table. So we might do something like that. There might be a brand that wants to do an award show. And if we do a physical award show event in person, I'll be hosting that and be an MC for that and be a host. So that'll be dope if we end up going that direction with it. Can't give more details until we sort it out. But yeah, things are going well. It's a lot of work, but then I told you I'm back. 2024 is back to the grind, back to hustle mode for me, back to another season of hustle, done with the pandemic depression and all that jazz. I'm really happy about it. I'm really happy to be back to work. I've also been back on my fitness regime and health. I lost 12 pounds of the COVID weight. I'm down to 16-something% body fat, trying to go under 15 before my 40th birthday. I'm up to one of the highest protein levels I've ever been at 19% protein, going for 22% protein. I'm not going to be Sam Sulek anytime soon. I'm not going for that or nothing like that. My arms and shoulders are the biggest they've ever been. I've lost weight while gaining muscle, so that's fantastic. My muscle mass is the most it's ever been. I'm sleeping probably the best I've slept in years. So, I mean, it's a hustle year for Roberto all around. Yep, thanks, Living on a Dime. Appreciate you. You're in Houston, so Vid Summit in Dallas was cool last year. Yep, absolutely. Yep. I have managed to do a couple of things very well lately. Um, I'm even like hanging out with more Atlanta creators. So even my like friendships and relationships as an adult, that's improving as I'm hanging out with more Atlanta creators, plus travel's back on the table. I DM with my friend group every day. Well, I DM with like 4 of my friend groups every day. So that's also good. But I'm also seeing people in person. Uh, what is it they say? Health, wealth, relationships, and what was the other one? Health, wealth, something, and relationships. Time. Okay, so my productivity is doing well. So you time, productivity, careers. Oh, are you doing the things you like? Hobbies. I need to like PewDiePie's inspired me. I'm going to probably try to work in a 100-day drawing challenge, not for social media, but just for myself. Maybe one day I'll show results from it. But like PewDiePie drawing again, I drew every day as a kid. PewDiePie is inspiring on doing his 100-day drawing journey. So maybe I'll get back into that as far as some of my free time and do a 100-day drawing journey. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, Roberto's doing pretty well all around, feeling a lot better. Yep, I'm getting it together. Hopefully in the next 2 years, I'll pay off this house. So that's the other cool thing. Okay, my analytics as you speak, and now I'm wondering if we should do daily lives instead, double the views and triple the watch time of our shorter videos. It'd be worth experimenting with that for at least a week or two and see what happens. What do you think about other streaming platforms such as Rumble, Spotify, and Kick? Spotify is the future for a lot of things. I think a lot of people underestimate Spotify. Spotify and YouTube are the big players as far as I'm concerned. Rumble has its place. Kick has its place. Kick could be a good hedge if Amazon decides to cut Twitch loose. If Amazon cuts Twitch loose, then Kick could be a good hedge. I'm actually more curious about this new paid ad performance product that X.com, formerly Twitter, is doing. So X.com, formerly Twitter, is actually about to start paying. For the ads on videos for creators. And so like that is something that I'm really interested in because I think that financially could become more viable for creators than we originally thought. And I'm not going off of the Mr. Beast data from their experiment because we know that one was a little inflated, but the ad revenue for video content on X.com, formerly Twitter, I think it's actually going to be good. I think it's actually going to be better than people think. I think that Twitter gets a bad rap under Elon Musk that it doesn't deserve. I think people trash it worse under Elon than Jack Dorsey without it actually being any worse. I think too many people also praise it too much under Elon Musk without it being better on every vertical besides free speech. So that's interesting to me. Rumble needs to do a lot of work on their UI UX design, and I hope that they take that to heart. Their creator award trophies were really poorly designed, and that's disappointing. That's disappointing that they just give you basically a giant brick glow stick that says Rumble on it, and that's more about their brand than it is about the creator that they gave it to. Whereas I like YouTube's play button because it's significant and it's well designed and well packaged, and it's an unboxing experience for the creator. There's no real glory in unboxing a Rumble award, and it's not because Rumble's not a big enough platform. It's because the award is not beautiful. It's not well designed. It's not well made. I'm encouraging ConvertKit to make a beautiful creator award for people who get 100,000 subscribers to their email list, and to make a beautiful badge, kind of like a Pokemon badge that you could put on your hat or your lanyard for people who get 10,000 subscribers to their email list. Kajabi gives you badges for all your sales. It gives you a badge for your first $1,000 in sales, first 10,000 in sales, first 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, and then they give you a plaque for $1 million in lifetime sales. My hope and my goal is that with the course launch and some other things we're doing, is that if I don't get my $1 million Kajabi plaque this year, And it's not a million a year, it's a million in lifetime sales. If I don't cross a million in lifetime sales this year, my hope is that by the end of next year, I cross a million in lifetime sales and I get that Kajabi plaque. I could put another award, I could put another trophy up on the shelf. So my goal is to do that, put some trophies on myself. And then for all the coaching members, all the academy members in the pro group and all the one-on-one coaching clients, I want to start getting and paying for the duplicates and the shipping to collect copies of their play buttons, because I'm going to build a hall of fame. I'm building a wall of fame of the successful coaching clients and the successful pro group members, and putting together a little bit of a wall of fame, if you will, for my clients. And so we're just going to put copies of their plaques up on the wall here. So that's going to be dope. And so, yeah, I'm encouraging more platforms and more companies to make these creator awards, because I think they're meaningful. I think they encourage people. I think they inspire people. I think more people will become creators, take it seriously, work their heart out if they can get something that they can be acknowledged for. And I think a trophy does it. And I think that it means something. So getting more creator awards into the ecosystem. Like I said, I'm encouraging ConvertKit to look at that. Their competitor Beehive is looking at that, because I mentioned it. They're like, somebody from their company tweeted and said, and put the little eyes on my thing. So now maybe they'll compete on that. They'll compete on making creator awards. Spotify is really interesting. Spotify has the household name recognition of YouTube. It has the majority of paying subscription model subscribers, paid subscription model winners. So it's doing that very well. They are making about a third of the revenue of YouTube without even really getting significant advertising revenue when compared to YouTube, all off of subscriptions. So that's interesting. Rumble, I'm not sleeping on. Your boy, bought 200 shares of the stock a little while back, and not soon enough, mind you. And your boy is up 40% on his Rumble stock. My only regret is not buying 1,000 shares, because my gut was saying buy 1,000 shares, and I was like, play it safe, Roberto. Just buy 200 shares, see what happens. You can go in again later. No, your boy should have bought the 1,000 shares that his instinct said, because your boy is up 40%. So should have trusted my gut. Should have trusted Mo's good Roberto invest in instincts. Can't wait till I pay off the house and be unleashed in the market, because your boy unleashed in the market is going to be a menace. Rumble, great on free speech, bad on UI UX design. Rumble also needs to make the terms of ad revenue payout stuff more easy to read and clear. Rumble also needs better analytics, but Rumble can be improved. Rumble has potential. I don't think it should be a YouTube competitor. I think it should be a niche platform that goes heavy on sports. The relationship with Barstool Sports is really good for them. I think it's practically perfect for them. And I think the culture of Rumble should be sports, podcast, politics, esports, gaming, and music. And I think that by being about those things within culture and being free speech and comedy. So think about it. The things where we need free speech the most are being able to speak your mind. So podcasting and politics, sports, you should be able to speak your mind. Athletes have always done that, and they've always been a little rough around the edges. They should be able to say what they want. So like UFC, Dana White, that sort of thing. And then comedy for sure, and music. So when it comes to comedy, music, sports, those things are very heavily aligned to free speech. So Rumble's perfect for that. And that's how Rumble could become a household name, is if it gets streaming rights for live events, for concerts, and for sporting events, and esports and gaming, and for political debates like it's been doing. And that would make Rumble a household name. I think it could be great. Primal Video says, you love the idea, but if it's just number of email subscribers, would that be super easy to game? Here's the thing. I don't think it's super easy to game, because guess what? You have to pay for those email subscribers. And if you have 10,000 email subscribers, remember, you'd only be getting a little badge, and that would cost you about $280 a month to maintain that email list per month, mind you, for 10,000 subscribers. And then for a 100,000 subscriber email list, have fun gaming that system and paying like $3,000 to $5,000 a month if you're not making money off your email list. So gaming the system to an email list is a zero-sum game just to get a creator trophy. Nobody would do that. Nobody would do that because you would literally be spending thousands upon thousands of dollars to accomplish that. Yep. So let's see. Do you think YouTube gives a creator more control out of all of the streaming platforms? Depends on what you're looking for when it comes to control. I think that, I mean, there's a reason that I use Streamyard for my live streams, obviously. In terms of overall control, it's between YouTube and Twitch, really. Twitch has the best chatting interface overall, but I just don't think that the Twitch features are significant enough to overlook all of its shortcomings. And I don't think the revenue is enough to go there versus YouTube. And that's why I think that YouTube is the best streaming platform overall for the majority of people. But if you're really into gaming culture, Twitch might be better. Maybe, but maybe not for long. And YouTube could destroy Twitch if it decided to really, really go hard on streaming, if we're being honest. Steven V. Tran says, really random, but thoughts on Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, like many other smart people, proves that you can be smart and be foolish concurrently at the same time. And he's proven that more than once on more than one stance on more than one thing. And even in his investments in Shark Tank, he's proven that before. I've had a deep respect and admiration for years for Mark Cuban. However, lately, he's shown that he's willing to let the desire to take what he believes to be the correct ideological stance to overshadow common sense, evidence, and data when it's presented to him and when it's presented and debated in good faith. And he's shown a reluctance to admit when he's been wrong, even when government officials have said, actually, Mark, you're wrong. So I think that it's sad to see, but it's not unsurprising that a man in his position who does great things. I love what he's doing with cost plus drugs. I think that what he's doing with cost plus drugs is exactly what we need. It's exactly the right thing. Proves that the government could have done something about the cost of prescription drug prices if they had gone into partnership with the private sector. Shows how the private sector can do better than the public sector on a lot of issues. So what he's doing with cost plus drugs is amazing. But it also shows that he can do amazing, great work like that he deserves to be praised for, and that he can still behave, think, act foolish and irrationally. I can make the same arguments for Elon Musk and how great he does with SpaceX, how great he does with Tesla, but then how sometimes with Twitter and with the business in particular of advertising, he can make missteps. But I do think that Elon is the best thing for Twitter overall, and I think that what Cuban is doing with cost plus drugs is great overall. So the thing is, I think that their success, their intelligence, their accomplishments can make up for quite a great deal of things. But I don't think it means that they're infallible whatsoever. And I don't think it means it's impossible for them to be foolish or behave foolishly or to think or believe in foolish things. But I think that's true for a lot of intelligent people. I wouldn't be excluded from that. I wouldn't be excluded from that. I'm entirely capable of believing, saying, and or doing foolish things. And I have, and I probably will again. Yeah, the Twitch culture is very hooked to its emotes. I think that what you showed me, that Ludwig and that team put together around a feature, a plugin that makes YouTube look and feel like Twitch in the chat is actually really good. I think that YouTube should consider just acquiring and hiring them, and just taking on those things and those features. So I think that would actually be better. But I do think that YouTube is when you take every single aspect of it into consideration, better than Twitch. I think that YouTube, when you take everything into consideration, it's better than Twitch. Deer Hunting Cajun says, Roberto, how can I get and figure out what to charge for sponsorships and all these emails I get for partnerships? I have 180K subs. I work with creators one-on-one around this all the time. I'm building out a course around this, like I said, but I teach this one-on-one with creators. I talk to creators about this in my pro group. There's several factors because it's not just about your subscriber count, and it's not, and it's also what type of brand deal are you doing, right? So what a lot of creators don't do is they don't package their brand deals properly, and they don't have options, and they don't make it clear what they offer to the brand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can find my media kit here. Here it is. So this is my media kit. And so in my media kit, I describe myself and what I've accomplished. And in my case, I frame a lot of it around my business success because this matters because I deal with companies that are trying to sell products and services, mostly SaaS companies. So then I go into the partnership opportunities and I tell them all the ways we could work together, because we can build out a package. We could, what do you want to do? Because some of these things are beneficial to some brands and some of these things are beneficial to other brands. So here are the opportunities. So hey, here's who I am and why it matters. Here's the opportunities to work with me. Here is who my audience is. Do you align with that audience? Here are my previous partnerships. So here's my resume. Here's who I've worked with before. Here is a case study of what I've helped achieve. I drove this much traffic, this much installs, this many lifetime purchases, generating this much revenue. That was a case study. Reach on platforms. I'm using the social proof for the platforms of here's me with my YouTube play button. So I'm leading with strengths. I'm leading with social proof. Then actual proof, case studies. Then here's that reach because they do care. Here's the audience demographics because that matters. What market are you in? Who are you looking for? What do you want my audience to be? Email open rates, customer database, website traffic, Trustpilot review ratings, data points that could matter in terms of my credibility, the types of content we can partner on, more about my audience and the fact that I influence influencers, partnership packages, contact me. So you see, I build out a media kit with the things that would and should and could matter to a brand. And that put me in a position to be able to have the leverage to say, here are brands I do and don't want to work with. I can send this to brands and let them decide whether or not it's worth a conversation so that we don't waste each other's time. I make this available on my website so brands can research me and figure out whether we're wasting each other's time. And it gives them all the background they need to where if a brand wants to work with me, if a manager wants to work with me, he can walk this deck. He or she could walk this deck up into their boss and use this to sell me to their boss and get an approval. I also primarily focus on brands I want to work with instead of just entertaining every offer that comes through my door. But when an offer comes through my door, one of the first things I do is send them back this media kit so that they can figure out whether or not they're wasting my time. Because once they see all of this, and also if they get a sense of my rates, then I know whether we're playing ball or not. And the thing is, if they're not willing to entertain my beginning level rates and then us customize a package or negotiate or haggle around that, then they are wasting their time and my time because these rates that I'm telling them are things other partners already said yes to. So in order to figure out what to charge for sponsors, you have to figure out what you're offering in the first place, because what you're offering decides what the deal is. Because there's terms like, are you offering exclusivity in the product category? That's one of the terms. What's the payout? Net 0, 50% up front, 15 days later, net 15, 30 days later, net 30, 60 days. What's the payout rate? That changes how long you delay paying me could decide the rate. If you pay me all of it up front, maybe I give you a 15% discount. Hey, you know what? Instead of taking $10,000 a month, if you want to give me all of it up front, instead of $120,000, I'll take $100K. You save $20,000 giving it to me all up front. So that's a thing you could do. Yeah. And again, I'm just using that for the sake of easy to understand numbers, but that's a thing you could do. You say, you know what? Instead of trickling me the 120 over time, just give me $100K up front. You can save $20,000. So that would be an example. You can negotiate, hey, I'll be exclusive for 90 days instead of 30 days if we meet my rates. Instead of you haggling me down, if you meet my rates, I won't work with anybody else in this category for 90 days or 6 months or a year. So it's a matter of moving the needle there. Hey, what if I do this extra thing for you, and then I'll do and then you do this, or these deliverables versus these deliverables. So it's largely a matter of that. A lot of you don't know how to negotiate. You don't know how to price yourself. You don't know how to package. You don't know how to position yourself in the marketplace. You don't know how to communicate your value and demonstrate your value to a brand outside of views. I do not sell brands on my reach. I sell brands on my reputation. I sell them on my relationships, and I sell them on what I represent. And I also sell them on my revenue generating capacity. And I also can accomplish this because I will make content for their social media and I take my reach off of the table. I also, when I do sell my reach, I sell the fact that it's the right reach. I sell the fact that my reach generates more revenue than somebody else's reach. Someone can get 10 times as much reach as me and generate half the revenue for a brand. Somebody can get 10 times as much reach as me, but be the wrong reputation, and the brand might need to disassociate with them or get canceled. So you have to position against the right things, and that would make all the difference. And most of you, that's your real struggle. That's why I do work one-on-one with creators. That's why I want to teach a brand deal secrets course, because the things I'm calling secrets are secrets to creators. They're not secrets to business people. They're not secrets to people who've done freelance. They're not secret to people who've done commission sales. They're not secrets to people who have negotiated contracts. They're not secrets to people who've done media buying. They are secrets to creators who've never worked in those industries before. They're secrets to creators who have no background in advertising, sales, or marketing. I have backgrounds in advertising, sales, and marketing, and design and branding. I can position differently because I know those things, and because those same people are the ones negotiating your brand deals on the other side of the aisle. So I can walk backwards from that, and I have those relationships. I know those insights. I also know what software they use to audit you. So that's the secrets that I can share and reveal, because they're secrets to one half of the market and not to the half of the other. And I've been on the other half. That's the difference. So you have to know those kind of things to have the best advantage when it comes to negotiating brand deals, pricing brand deals, packaging brand deals, and positioning in the marketplace. I think I'm out of water and my throat's about gone here. Tim, thank you for the $10 super chat. I've recently seen an increase in contacts from actors claiming to be from video tech companies who are saying, buy this product, do a review, and then we'll refund after the video. Clearly scammers. Yeah, you never want to do that. You want to also vet companies, and you want to make sure that you understand how to vet them properly. Yep, just wanted to point that out, as there are probably a lot of people losing money on these guys. Yeah, never do brand deals. Never do brand deals. Oh, if you want to work with me, you go to www.awesomecreatoracademy.com and you see what I have to offer there. I'm dropping in the chat. You go to www.awesomecreatoracademy.com and you can look at what I have to offer if you want to work for me or if you want to buy one of our products. So that's what you do if you want to work with me. But yeah, when it comes to brand deals, never do any of these brand deals where they're like, hey, buy the product and we'll refund and you can we'll reimburse you, or I can send you back the money. Never do any of that. You never want to do any of that. there's a difference between that and just also, hey, we'll send you a product for free. But but a lot of these people, if you do like a PayPal or a Venmo or a Cash App and you pay them and they say, oh, we'll reimburse you, then no, it's a scam. So the other thing I'm going to be teaching you is also things. I do this in some of my live streams as well, but I'm going to teach you more about the red flags to avoid with brand deals and why you always need contracts. Always 100% always sign a contract. One thing I'll tell you for free for sure. Always sign a contract when it comes to a brand deal. Always. Paperwork. And make sure the deliverables are clear. One of the other things I'm going to be putting in the brand deals, like we have a brand deal starter kit that helps you start with your brand deals. It's a $99 product and helps you start. It's not the big course that I'm releasing, but it helps you with a lot of things. It also gives you media kit template. It's close to like what my media kit is. We have 3 of them, 3 templates that you can design. You can use Adobe Express because it's a free way to open Photoshop files and edit them to customize it. But one of the things I'll teach you and one of the things I'll tell you for free is you absolutely always want to make sure you have a contract for the brand deals, a clear list of the deliverables, and the date and terms of payment. You also want to submit a W-9 to the company so that they can pay you out and that they have that for the paperwork. They're going to send you a 1099 for your taxes at the end of the year. Usually that 1099 will come in January, February of the following year. So you want to make sure you have that. In terms of payment, you want to invoice them. A lot of you, the easiest thing for you going to do is probably going to be PayPal, but you're going to end up taking a hit on some of the fees when the money comes in and when the money goes out. But that's what most of you are going to do because it's not going to cost you money up front if you just use PayPal to do the invoicing. What else? What else could I tell you about that part? Oh, yeah. For your deliverables, you want to create a spreadsheet that has basically makes a list of all your deliverables. And if you have multiple brands you're working with, you're going to want to color code this so you can keep track of all the things you owe your brands on your brand deals, on your contract. Oh, wow. That sucks, Tim. That's wild. Tim is saying that they were offering him a camera gimbal from a certain brand, but they had a Facebook page that had photos taken from a completely different company on the gimbal company website. That's wild. It's wild. Buddhist Art says, Roberto, I am making shorts every day and my channel is growing. Art process. Plus I'm telling what I do. Will it be just crickets if I make the same short form videos horizontally? I would consider, here's what I would do if I were you. I would do live streams. If you're doing shorts every day, I'd start trying to do daily live streams or multiple live streams a week. And then with that, because you have these shorts people, they're loyal to the platform. Live stream audiences, as you all well know, are loyal to the creator. Video upload audiences are loyal to the content. So platform content creator, and that's the flow from shorts, videos, and live streams. In the extreme, if you have a bunch of people who are aware of you, who are watching shorts, if you go live every day, there's a chance that a lot of those shorts people will see that live circle on your thing and click on it out of curiosity and then go watch your live streams. Live streams are long form and for art content have the best option for monetization and for potential for ad revenue, so on and so forth, because you just leave the replays up afterwards. So I would just skip to doing live streams of art if that's the case. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm getting tired here and my voice is going, so I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Oh yeah, very cool for living on a dime. Our live stream audience is very loyal, 1,000 to 1,300 watching each stream. Nice. Yep. Tim says, I took your spreadsheet advice a long time ago and also started putting calendar entries on when I plan to do what in the future with brands. Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's exactly what you want to be doing. Yep. All right, everybody. That's pretty much it. I want to close out here with thanking everybody who super chatted. And I want to also, of course, thank our wonderful brand sponsors. So shout out and thank you to our brand sponsors, Streamyard, OpusClip and Kajabi. Streamyard, simplest live streaming there is, multi-platform across all of the interwebs. And that's how you're able to watch me on the platform of your choice. So thank you to StreamYard. We got OpusClip, perfect for repurposing content. So with StreamYard, I can live stream on every platform. With Opus, I can repurpose and post to every platform and schedule those uploads. Less work, less trouble for Roberto. And then with Kajabi, I get to build my back-end business, stop being a digital sharecropper, have actual ownership by owning my email list, my customer database, the access to my audience, and a product that I can sell without splitting my revenue with the platforms and keep it to myself. So you can own the relationship, the reach, and the revenue. So shout out to Kajabi for letting us build online businesses a lot easier. So those are our sponsors. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. We're going to end the stream with my book trailer. If you haven't checked out my book, it is Create Something Awesome, How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold. You can also work with me either one-on-one or join the Academy Pro group by going to awesomecreatoracademy.com. I need to make a banner for that down here. Join me at awesomecreatoracademy.com. And other than that, we will catch you next time. I'll try and schedule the streams so that you always have like a couple of days to clear your schedule and know when they're going to be. And of course, you can watch the replay. Shout out to Chris in the community who's been doing the amazing timestamps lately. And I always shout him out in the description for doing the timestamps. So appreciate you, buddy. Stay awesome, everybody. Catch you next time.
I finally did it. I finished my book, Create Something Awesome, How Content Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. The book is available now in paperback and in Kindle, where you can read it on any e-reader or device. And I'm really excited about this. The audiobook is coming soon, probably October 2022. Oh my God, it's so great to be able to have this book done, put it up on the bookshelf, and to know that all of you who appreciate it, you want to hear what I have to say about the creator economy, becoming a full-time content creator, and what the experience and lifestyle of being a content creator actually is like. This is the book. I put 20 chapters in here of the most important things I think that content creators could be focusing on today. I talk about the mental health aspect of being a content creator, getting discouraged, imposter syndrome, not charging what you're worth, and mostly actionable advice around monetizing your content properly, but also how to build an audience on your authenticity and what it's really like to start from zero, even today. So if you're interested, make sure you're checking out the book. You can order it on Amazon. You also probably order it in a lot of other places like Barnes & Noble, and it will be coming to other bookstores soon. Really excited about it. Thank you for all the support and love around the book and the positive reviews. Now go ahead and pick it up and make sure you go out there and create something awesome today. Take care.